cha-cha-cha. No, it's not the rhythm that makes you move your feet. It's your heart that is taking control. Ooh, that feeling, the heart never lies. You can't be denied tonight. Don't blame it on the cha-cha-cha. Blame it on the moon. You can see it's just this magic night. Don't blame it on this tune. Go on, tell me, is the stars up above? You can blame it on the thing called love. It's not the band singing na na na. Don't blame it on the cha-cha-cha. It's not the band singing na na na. Don't blame it on the cha-cha-cha.
Chris and Sabrina with The Link. Here on Breeze 93.9 FM.
Can you whisper in my ear? Tell me all the things that I wanna hear. Just to open my closed mind, show me the fortune I couldn't find. Would you bring me sights to see and reveal the light that's surrounding me? You make me shine in my darkest time while pulling the night out of my eyes. I said, I'll come. I said I'll come on, come on. So come on, it's time to stand tall. Try to rise up despite your downfall. Realize your potential and do not stop. I said don't hesitate or else you will fall. I said come on, it's time to stand tall. Try to rise up despite your downfall. Realize your potential and do not stop. I said don't hesitate or else you will fall. So can you whisper in my ear? Tell me all the things that I wanna hear. Just to open my closed mind, show me the fortune I couldn't find. Would you bring me sights to see and reveal the light that's surrounding me? You make me shine in my darkest time while pulling the night. I said I'll pull in my night. I said come on, it's time to stand tall. Try to rise up despite your downfall. Realize your potential and do not stop. I said don't hesitate or else you will fall. I said come on, it's time to stand tall. Try to rise up despite your downfall. Realize your potential and down. Can you whisper in my ear? Can you whisper in my ear? In my ear. I said I'll come on. Come on. I said I'll come on.
are you? Monday's child, cause you're fair of face. It's the only thing I see when I walk in the place. I watch you glow in the sun as you walk past me slowly. I whisper, take a breath and say, oh man, if only. But no, not even one look, not even a glance. I'll go home to feel like, man, I'll never get a chance. One day I promise my motivations will change. When I've got nothing left to lose and everything to gain, I'll drop sweet lines, ask if you like the way my band plays. I ask you what you're signing, what you usually do on Saturdays, and if you've had any dreams that have ever come true. And if you could see in me all the things I see in you, even if we don't have a future, could we still have a past? Do things, go to places, make memories to last. I swear I don't want a lifetime, wanna meet me in the nighttime for 3 or 2 or 1 night. Just show me it's the right time.
Show me it's the right time.
Yeah.
Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time.
Yeah. Just show me it's the right time.
Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time.
Yeah, just show me it's the right time. I'm Friday's child, I'm loving and giving. Born under Mars, so I work hard for a living. Every dream I've ever had, I made it come true. Had one about you last night, here's what I'm telling you true. You could keep walking by me, you could give me a little smile. Ask more about me, make me stay a little while. I'll teach you things I swear I thought I didn't know myself. You bring out this other side of me I never showed to no one else. And at the end of this story, I know I hold you dearly in my heart. But tonight, dear, I just wanna hold your body near me. You're taking a space, like all the space in my head. You're all that I want right now, and it doesn't make much sense because I don't even know you. I just see your pictures, I see you walk right by like I just wanna know your interests. I don't want a lifetime, wanna meet me in the nighttime for 3 or 2 or 1 night. Just show me it's the right time.
Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time.
Yeah. Just show me it's the right time.
Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time.
My soul, my life force, my energy. Don't know what's gotten into me. I'm into you and the way you move. You feel me too. Just feel the screws. I'm digging you and that smile too. My soul's feeling you. I can sing to you. It's all I could do. It's all I could do. Even if you don't care about the words I'm singing and this energy I'm sending, it just doesn't mean a thing. You're a work of art. You're a song. You're the apple of my eye. At least for the night, just consider not walking right on by. Bye. Just show me it's the right. Just show me it's the right time. Just show me. Just show me it's the right time. Just show me. Just show me it's the right time.
Ja uli die sombranza e su ita saluda antes di nega razzauzan malak estrezas durante in todo il memu a no distanza como kupugi palu zaniman malak guafi I conum nasugi airi preba tu la noci nai banderata gaigi pues atan fanni bandera kau esta pagua pumalapa giluk tanu man libri senta
Fanogita moru purita nota kantai matu nanyagi toru ilugat parai honra parai gloria abibais la sin parat parai honra parai gloria abibais la sin parat todo y tiempo y paz para kita dan gini langit na bendition Conchai peligro na fan sofuham Zeus protegis languahon Conchai peligro na fan sofuham Zeus protegis languahon memory of our land. So here we go now, here we go. Here among the music, here we go now, feel the flow. mastakilu hina soku inini mastakalu corazon tan imas figu nani nasinyahu fresh in my sadu para protehi tan defendi hinengi cultura lenguaje airi hano zanitano tamoru yes zanitano tamoru yes ire shaku la 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 did it to get into stop that 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 it's the who what been my ihilo Zani Biblia Ibandera Mohan yes 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 Ibandera Mohan yeah. Mastakilu hina soku kinini mastakalu corazon tan imas figu nani nasinyahu fresh in my sadu para protehi tan defendi hinengi cultura lenguaje Tanitano tamoru yes Tanitano tamoru yes Ni ire shaku la 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 did it to get into stop that 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 it's the who what been my ihilo Zani Biblia Ibandera Mohan yes 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 Ibandera Mohan yeah.
Good morning. It's Monday. Monday. Hi, Bree.
Hi.
What's up, Jay?
Good morning. Good morning to all the oranges and yellows
And light blues.
There's a lot of the blue.
Dark grays.
Good morning, sun. Good to see you. I didn't know if I was gonna see you today, given how hard it was raining this morning. Were you guys woken up by that? 4 o'clock. It was really coming down.
It rained yesterday. I went down to Umatic. I was gonna do the mountain like sun. A lot of people go hike the mountain in Umatic in the sunrise, but it's good to go in sunset.
As you can see the sunset, but it rained so hard, like right at around 4:45, like really hard. Got some longest. So it didn't do that, and now it looks like a beautiful day today. You okay?
It's better now.
All right. Got to get your lighting all in regulation. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi.
How was your weekend?
Looks good.
You know, headphones have become a thing at KUAM. And before it was just like, okay, well, just get like, you know, the ones that come with your phone and everything like that. But all of a sudden, Bree's headphones broke. Your headphones broke, which is amazing. We've been doing this show for almost 2 years now. Bree got those wonderful iridescent LED kitty cat ones. Then you got a pair for Tyler, right? So not to be outdone, everyone in the back. I just saw some of the reporters, especially like the young ones. Hannah just got this Disney one. It's like a Princess Jasmine one, which is like crazy. So like headphones like are the new status symbol at KUAM.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Okay.
I'm rocking the classic. These are anybody who's into audio engineering will know that these are the SR7560s, gifted to me by a very awesome individual named Andy Wheeler.
Oh,
Yep, a lot of mileage on these cans, as we say in the biz.
nice. Where did you stand when Beats came out?
Too much bass.
Really?
Beats is good for rap. It's too much bass.
Okay.
If you listen to, you don't get a lot of the high. It's cool. I mean, they're awesome headphones.
So the high range is kind of like lacking.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's all about the bass.
Okay. Well, how about Mr. Know-It-All when it comes to anything audio, Joser? Where do you stand? Thumbs up, thumbs down on Beats.
Yes.
Beats by Dre. Yes. All right.
For DJing.
Oh, for DJing. All right.
Right on. Yeah, because DJ's a lot of bass.
Mm-hmm.
Bass. I personally like the kitty cat headphones, though.
Those are
If they had those when I was doing the radio, I would have wore those. They should do them in like kitty cat ears, bunny ears, monkey ears.
And I don't think any of you guys don't do like the AirPods, right?
I haven't yet.
You've all got iPhones, but you guys don't
I
do
was
the
thinking
AirPods.
about it.
Yeah, those things are like a car payment now, though. That's
I know.
probably.
Yeah. How about you? Is it a worthy investment?
No,
Jay?
I'm an Android guy, so like, I mean, there are knockoff versions of that, but I don't. I just don't wear. I mean, I've got sport wireless headphones that I use when I work out, but that's about it. Otherwise, like, I just don't wear headphones that often.
Hey, it's 6:27, Monday, November 8th, 2021. Pacific Points, Calvo Enterprises, IT&E, and Jack in the Box. Proud to present this episode of The Link. Good morning, Facebook Live. Thanks for joining us. We'll jump on KUAM TV a little bit later. Let's go ahead and get into the news now, shall we? Our first look at news is brought to you by Pacific Points. Here with the very latest from the KUAM news team on this Monday. Sabrina Salas-Matanani, good morning.
Half a day, everybody. Late Sunday afternoon, several officers with the Guam Police Department responded to a stabbing incident at the Poinciana Apartments in Tamuning. KUAM was on scene where many of the tenants could be seen waiting outside, and yellow crime tape was visible at the front of the building. According to a media release from GPD, they found a lifeless man. KUAM spoke with a tenant on scene.
We were inside my house, my apartment. I have some family over, and then out of nowhere, we just hear banging on my door. I opened the door to see who it is, and it's the ladies, her and then her mom, and they're all bloody, they're all crying, they're hysterical, they cannot, really speak. They're not from here, so their English is a little bit rocky, and they just told us not to go outside, please don't go outside, and they're saying my brother, the sister, not the mom, and I just come outside to see, what's going on. Didn't see anything going on. Came back in the house. As soon as we heard the police, we told them that the police are here. So we brought them back out because it was safe. They didn't want to come out without the police. They're the ones telling us to please call the cops. And then from there, I guess they brought down the suspect from upstairs because we had him over there on that side. The police were bringing him out. They had him on the ground and whatnot.
Okay.
From there, that's pretty much all I know.
Detectives with GPD's Criminal Investigation Division were activated. They took a suspect into custody. We're still waiting for more information to be released. Meanwhile, on Friday night, a man was rushed to Naval Hospital following a serious crash involving two cars along Route 2 in Agate. According to GFD spokesperson Cherika Chargaloff, the man had to be extricated from the vehicle. The crash occurred just before 9 o'clock Friday night near the Santa Ana Chapel. The Joint Information Center reports 39 people are hospitalized for COVID. 5 patients are receiving ICU level of care, 4 on ventilators. There are currently 2 pediatric admissions. Out of the 39 hospitalizations, 16 vaccinated, 22 unvaccinated, 1 ineligible to receive the shot. Since Friday night, Guam recorded 132 new positive cases out of 1,859 tests. Those are the preliminary numbers until test results from private clinics are added in. The final numbers from the weekend will be reported in tonight's JIC report. To date, there have been a total of 18,639 officially reported cases, 248 deaths, 2,610 cases are active in isolation, and 15,781 people have recovered. As of November 5th, the CAR score was down to 9.0. Today, a total of 124,231 of Guam's eligible population is fully vaccinated. As for booster shots or additional doses of the vaccine, the following have been administered: 11,738 doses of Pfizer, 4,920 doses of Moderna, and 139 doses of J&J. Meanwhile, in the CNMI, there have been 13 new COVID cases since Friday. The total case count in the CNMI is now 351. Children between 5 to 11 years old in Saipan began receiving vaccines over the weekend. Rhoda and Tinian Health Centers will begin administering the vaccine for kids today. The Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation says families can register online at vaccinatecnmi.com or in person at the Multipurpose Center today through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. A valid government-issued ID or birth certificate must be presented at the time of registration. School-based vaccination is also being planned at some schools in the Northern Marianas. Here on Guam, Public Health is expected to start vaccinations for children under 12 this week. KUAM did invite public health officials to come on today's show live, but no one was available. We then invited anyone from Public Health to come on anytime this week to share with the people of Guam information about the children vaccines. We've not received a response. However, as reported, Adelupe's communications office is not allowing anyone to come on live on our program, or you can call it a gag order. Over the weekend, Congress passed the president's $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. According to Congressman Michaelson Nicholas, the measure continues the increase in highway funds from $17 million to $45 million. He adds the increase in the transportation grant pools for more buses and some funding to expand broadband access for families, as well as address water infrastructure. Now, the infrastructure bill is before the president, who is expected to sign it. Meanwhile, the Build Back Better bill is still being debated. It is likely to be voted on this week. This measure also contains millions for Guam, including $345 million to build a new hospital. The commanding officers of the USS Connecticut have been relieved of their duties, citing a loss of confidence. U.S. 7th Fleet Commander Vice Admiral Carl Thomas relieved Commander Cameron Al-Gilani as commanding officer, Lieutenant Commander Patrick Cashin as executive officer, and Master Chief Sonar Technician Corey Rogers as chief of the boat. The action follows the findings of an investigation that determined the Sea Wolf-class fast attack submarine ran into an uncharted seamount while operating in international waters in the Indo-Pacific region in October. None of the crew suffered life-threatening injuries. According to a media release, Vice Admiral Thomas determined sound judgment, prudent decision-making, and adherence to required procedures in navigation planning, watch team execution, and risk management could have prevented the incident. Assigned as interim commanding officer was Captain John Witt. Commander Joe Sammer assumes duties as interim executive officer. Command Master Chief Paul Walters assumes duties as interim chief of the boat. U.S. Connecticut remains in Guam while undergoing damage assessment and will return to Bremerton, Washington for repairs. And more military news. In the Chamber of Commerce weekend newsletter, it reported that Joint Region Marianas confirmed that a big ship visit will take place this week. There will be over 5,000 military personnel on Guam for some R&R, and about 2/3 of the group will be out in town to enjoy our island's culture and people. Meanwhile, Taipei Times is reporting that a platoon of 40 Taiwanese Marines have been sent on a 1-month amphibious landing training program in Guam as part of a Taiwan-U.S. Defense Cooperation and Exchange Program. Taipei Times says the Minister of National Defense, Chiu Kuo-cheng, confirmed that information to the media over the weekend. The article goes on to report that the program is one of a number of long-standing bilateral exchange projects between Taipei and Washington. With more news now, here is Tyler Matanani.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more. one and half a day, everyone. I'm Tyler Matsanani with your headlines here on The Link. We have reactions to the Budget Bureau's report on American Rescue Plan expenditures as of the end of October. A pair of senators we spoke with said it falls well short of the spending plan the legislature has been clamoring for months. Nestor Lecanto reports.
The current budget law requires a monthly report on American Rescue Plan spending, and the Budget Bureau sent over a one-page list of expenditures in 8 different categories, totaling a little over $105 million. Senator Joanne Brown.
This does not represent a plan, and a plan that we've been asking for quite some time, to outline specifically how does the governor and the administration really intend to prioritize the spending of these funds. This does not provide that, unfortunately, and I think those are the kind of questions we need to continue to ask.
Speaker Therese Terlahi said she's glad they at least got something from the administration on ARP spending, but what they also need is a lot more detail.
What we really want to know is, going forward, what are the priorities going to be? So I think for the legislature, we've tried different ways, so now we've been successful finally in getting at least an after report of the expenditure. It's not a plan. I don't think you can really govern well without a plan.
It's not clear if the legislature will call an informational hearing to dig deeper into the expenditures. They were hoping the administration would just be more forthcoming with the information.
But I just think it's common sense, if you want to go through the question and answer for 5 days versus just tell the people where you're spending this stuff. Where are you spending the ARP money on? I can't see why that's such a hard thing to do.
But to not publicly, at this point, even come out at this late stage in the game, I really think is disingenuous. And it's really unfortunate that the governor's not forthcoming. We hear all this, we're transparent. Well, we're not obviously transparent with regards to how we're intending to spend this money that wasn't intended for the governor, but was intended for our people.
By the speaker's count, the governor has just over $90 million left to spend. Along with the $105 million just reported, Adelup also announced allocations of $25 million for a local employers assistance program, $20 million for a child care provider assistance program, and $300 million for a new hospital complex. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
The mistake has been corrected. Senators passed a new bill which amends the Local War Claims Program law. It removes an out-of-order amendment by Speaker Therese Terlahi that would have greatly increased the number of claimants and the cost of the program. The amendment was mistakenly included in the bill that was sent to and signed by the governor. Earlier this week, session was stalled as Republicans first wanted a full public explanation of how the costly amendment was included. They were finally able to vote Friday.
Bill 217-36 received 10 ayes and 2 nays, with 3 excused. Bill number 217-36 is duly passed by the body.
The 2 senators voting no on the bill were Amanda Shelton and James Moylan. They are sponsoring another war claims bill that will open the program to everyone who suffered during the war and their descendants with no filing deadline. This is similar to the Terlahi amendment that was removed by the bill passed Friday. It was several months ago when Adelup announced that almost $40 million was awarded to local groups and government agencies as part of the governor's Education Assistance and Youth Empowerment Grant Program. KUM News has confirmed no one has received any funds.
The Governor's Education Assistance and Youth Empowerment Program launched in May of this year. It was an opportunity for local groups and organizations to apply and compete for millions in education stabilization funds made available through the U.S. Department of Education. After review by the Guam State Clearinghouse on August 9th, Adelup announced the award of $36.9 million in ESF for 77 projects. The governor then said these projects will provide innovative and creative learning opportunities for thousands of students. According to the governor's office, $1.7 million total was awarded for academic studies, almost $920,000 for sports activities, $13.9 million for development and enhancement of learning resources, $5.6 million for youth programs, $5.7 million for supplemental student learning and engagement activities, $9.1 million for the safe return of students to school. For village mayors who have yet to receive any ARP money, the ESF is something they've been banking on. The money the mayors are being awarded will go towards sports programs and much-needed capital improvement programs. MCOG President and PD Mayor Jesse Allig.
Like I said, we're given our award letter for one of the programs, and we still have yet to receive the money. We can't draw it down. We can't begin because we don't have the money. One of the things that money is going to be used for is, for a lot of us, we need to prepare the sites, right? We need to prepare the facilities, because for some, it's just been a long time coming for necessary renovation in order to accommodate residents. Others, it's like the senior centers, it's making sure there's air filters, making sure there's we have some type of sanitization process and maintenance process for the facility while being used. So there's a lot of prep work that needs to get done before we even start.
Guam State Clearinghouse's Stephanie Flores is in charge of managing ESF. She says as part of the process to get the funds to these organizations and government agencies, federal regulations require each entity to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the governor's office, who is the original recipient of the funds. Flores adds that the process of getting an MOU fully reviewed and executed can be a little lengthy, especially in light of the volume of MOUs that need to be reviewed not only by the parties, but also a number of government agencies and the AG's office. The funds cannot be released until the MOUs are fully executed, which means the implementation of the 77 projects are in a holding pattern.
But none of that can actually begin or commence because there's no money to do it.
Flores anticipates being able to release funding from ESF in the very near future. And to help, Adelup hired at least 7 people, a program manager, 4 program coordinators, a buyer 1, and an office aide with the ESF money.
Despite a local military statement saying there aren't any plans to bring them here, a task force pineapple representative on island says the plan to bring thousands of Afghan commandos and their families to Guam is still in play. Glenn Pangilinan responding to a joint Region Marianas statement saying there are no plans at this time to use Guam as a staging area for the relocation of Afghans.
Since August, Guam was identified as a potential when it was mentioned by the governor. I think what the Pentagon found when they came out here was just an impossible situation to make it happen. But that impossible situation has now become even more impossible, which ended making it possible because there's no other place to go.
Pangilinan said he met with Governor Lou Leon Guerrero yesterday, and he reported that the governor is all in on the Afghans coming to Guam.
The governor's biggest point was Guam has always figured it out. We've had people come through. We've been successful at doing it. It's part of our history. And she said that as soon as she's informed that this is a reality, she'll take the proper measures to make it happen.
Pangilinan is flying out to Washington, D.C. this weekend and said he anticipates a final decision on the plan to transition commandos and their families through the island before the end of the year. That's it for now. We'll see you tonight for KUAM News Primetime.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Senator Tello Tidegway has introduced a bill that increases access to GovGuam's employment and hiring practices to the public and policymakers. The budget law provides that staffing patterns are uploaded on an agency's website and a copy given to the legislature. According to a media release, Bill 221 strengthens a level of accountability for government agencies to present an accurate snapshot of agency hiring practices, attrition, and migration of employees. Current quarterly reports are two-dimensional. Bill 221 provides a three-dimensional perspective that allows for the agency's existing workforce levels to be reviewed critically. All terminations, promotions, demotions, temporary details, transfers, reclassifications, internal agency movement, and position migration to agencies are captured within the reports. Reports required under the bill are due within 10 days after each quarter for a staffing report and monthly for personnel information reports. Classified, unclassified, temporary hires, and federal positions must all be reported under Bill 221. Now, this information is not all quarterly reported and is not an accurate representation of taxpayers' resources. The bill's introduction follows KUAM's report about how Department of Revenue and Taxation Director Daphne Shimizu hired an unclassified individual to be a call center supervisor, and within 1 month, she authorized Julie St. Nicholas Cruz to jump 6 pay grades and receive an $11,000 raise. According to staffing patterns, the call center supervisor's salary was more than several other supervisors in the various divisions at Rev and Tax. With your news in tomorrow, here's Kin Conception.
Buenas tardes, tiget sunto bikunut sa morgan ni KUAM News. Presenta ni Familian Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank. Anak si Anthony Luis Parteco Camacho gimenan West Magistrate Jonathan Kwan gi ibetnes. Masusteta ni para 15,000 pesos na cash bail. Dana di probisyon ni Tisino Mali para contact or to see na persona ni mapasalista ni ikorti. Ito na preliminary na hearing sa dia 12 November, gilas 4 gipapuengi. Gimapos sa semana na malago gisagang karantina gi Department of Corrections sa Kamatsu. Ana meditete ni positibo test niya para COVID-19. Istabay gui higi DOC sa Kamatsu sa pura kontradisi izo niya parole. Zapago matatsaki pud manyakin kareta, minatres grado na robbery, ana suwa identifika ni kareta, malago gi preso no felony, mansustete ni na schedule 2 na binenu, dani manyak titalo. Tibaripara na malago si Kamatsu gi preso hasta ki 12 oras gi después. May bisita ka ni Internal Affairs Office na Taiguini ST. Mas asunto, masodado yung jury na umisaw si Christopher De Leon Guerrero por 2 kwenta na attempted enticement of a minor. Gidespués sa investigasyon ni Air Force Special Investigation sa ni FBI, maaresta si De Leon Guerrero gi Anderson Air Force Base, ginubrembe na mes gimapos na sakan. Ikausa sa inanbaga uno na undercover na ahendi, no kado 13 anos gui na idat Palawan, ni mafanan na an M gi internet. Kumontrata idos para alig yung gumagi sa Anderson. Lo animatugato si De Leon Guerrero Guihi, maaresta no hindi ni Federal siya. Galam karitanya masodar siya ng kano dyan kandom. Ilingya si De Leon Guerrero na sarento gi Guam National Guard. Maschedule para masentensya gi 10 Febrero gi 2022 na sakan. Yuto mo na sunto para pago na Lunes gi Finot Samoro, gi KUAM News. Iguam Department of Education sa ma-report gi Bednes na uno na estudyante gini Mariso Marders Memorial Elementary na eskwela sa positibo test niya para COVID-19. Tasa empleyado gui ma-report na ninadzi ni COVID. Giba si Archdiocese Aganya ma-report 5 na kausang COVID-19 entre estudyante siya zan uno na empleyado gi Eskwelang Katoliko siya. Estudyante siya sa manmates na positibo iti dia 29 gi Oktubre hasta dia 5 gi November. Ikaw sa estudyante siya ni maninadzi sa ma-identifika na 2 gi Bishop Baumgartner Memorial Catholic School, 1 gi St. Anthony Catholic School, 1 gi Father Duenas Memorial School, dan 1 gi Notre Dame High School. Yun ang empleyado ni positibo itest niya sa gini Notre Dame High School. Para Guam News Network, Walsikin Conception. Yasuto gi Finot Samoro sa presenta sa ninafatto ni Familian Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, where you get smart insights into your finances so you can make smart decisions with your money. With a daily personalized feed, you can compare your monthly income to spending. That's better. Discover where your money is actually going. You might be surprised. See what's essential and what isn't. The more you use the app, the smarter it gets. With insights from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore. Stop on by and visit our showroom today. We offer everyday low prices on all major outdoor power equipment like bush cutters, chainsaw, power washer, generators, and more. Need service, repair, maintenance? Well, check out Guam's best superstore only at Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, located in Barragata along Army Drive between Submarina and Besta Market. Call 735-7446 for more information. Now shipping to surrounding islands. Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage. With generations of Filipinos calling Guam home, KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city, featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC. Let's get merry during the most wonderful time of the year by making spirits bright. KUAM Communications and Coast 360 want to highlight your decorations and lights by flooding the social media pages of KUAM with your videos and photos. Finish your holiday setup, snap a few shots or video of your delightful display, and send it to us through social media or email them to promotions@KUAM.com. Check out our posts every Friday or tune in to KUAM News Weekend Edition for a special montage of the submissions certain to be making spirits bright with every broadcast. Warmest holiday wishes from KUAM Communications and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
This year, Giving Tuesday falls on November 30th.
And though our community is still facing some of the most challenging of times, there's no better time
to volunteer, donate, spread awareness, and do whatever you can to help those in need.
Let's continue to build a wave of generosity
that creates a ripple effect for all in our community.
Throughout the month of November, Team KUAM Care Force will be showcasing some of our favorite charities.
To inform, inspire, and introduce you to the wonderful things these groups are doing for our community.
We're also calling on you to donate to our food pantry and toy drive to benefit the Salvation Army at our KUAM studios.
Any weekday between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. starting on November 1st.
Or stop by our second annual donation drive-thru event on November 30th.
You can also visit our studios to sign our Kindness for Caregivers wall to show our healthcare workers our appreciation.
So be a giver and join the KUAM Care Force this year in making a difference this Giving Tuesday.
Giving Tuesday 2021 is presented in partnership with our community partner, APL. Better Ways. This holiday season, we're once again bringing together the island's largest array of local vendors for a special innovative way for you to shop, broadcast, and go digital with Team KUAM. Join us on Sunday, November 28th for the annual Christmas Pops Virtual Holiday Market at 12 noon on KUAM TV8 and the KUAM News Facebook page, plus additional show times through December 11th. We'll also be featuring vendors daily with posts with QR codes and links on our social media pages beginning Monday, November 29th, and hosting an exclusive Christmas Pops website for your one-stop shopping. It's a safe and convenient way for you to shop local this holiday season. To reserve your spot, email promotions@KUAM.com today. Virtual space is limited.
Presented by UOG School of Business and Public Administration.
Join KUAM every Wednesday on Primetime for Inside Business. It's our new weekly segment featuring the struggle of Guam's businesses during this global pandemic. We'll hear from industry leaders about the difficult decisions they were forced to make to implement cutoffs, layoffs, and shorten hours just to survive. It's the other side effect of COVID, the island's economic crisis. We'll also feature new businesses that managed to open and thrive during these challenging times. It's Inside Business every Wednesday on KUAM News Primetime.
Uno Mixed. We're mixing it up on the last Thursday of every month with a look at lifestyle, entertainment, food, and so much more on the stations, networks, and digital platforms of KUAM Communications. Uno Mixed is presented to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Pepsi.
Take in the panoramic beauty of our island each Sunday on the KUM News Instagram with Scenic Sundays. Scroll through the natural beauty of the island on display. Scenic Sundays on the KUM News Instagram is brought to you by Addis Trust and Investment, Location, Service, Trust, and Haagen-Dazs Shops Guam, where every day is made extraordinary.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line. The KUAM Podcast Network is back and on demand, featuring a great variety of podcasts from our island and region, including culture, lifestyle, awareness, crime, politics, commentary, comedy, and entertainment. Available on most streaming platforms. The KUAM Podcast Network. Subscribe and listen now.
KUAM TV has been on the air for 65 years. 65 years of growing, changing, and adapting to the needs of our local community. 65 years of making you smile, laugh, and cheer, and being there for you in times of tears and heartbreak, and learning to heal together. We've kept you on the edge of your seats, been a trusted source for you to turn to, weathered many storms together, and celebrated life's big moments. And now at 65, we celebrate all the firsts we brought you over the years and all the firsts that lie ahead as our world changes. KUAM TV, celebrating 65 years of firsts on Guam.
See what's on TV tonight with schedules, network news and notes, local promotions and giveaways on KUAM Communications social media pages. Like and follow us on Facebook or Instagram now for all the latest and never miss out.
The Culture Club returns to KUAM Digital and KUAM News Weekend Edition, highlighting Guam's young artists, activists, and crafters as they work to protect, preserve, and promote our Chamorro culture. Watch this weekly feature on the digital platforms of KUAM News Weekend Edition, brought to you by Hanum.
KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time off each Friday to talk, taste, and tempt you with all the latest and greatest food and drinks on Guam. Old faves, new hits, and everything else we can put in our bellies. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link, brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Devondale. This season, KUAM Communications is ready to go with more games, more championships, and more sports specials guaranteed to bring out the fan in you. Don't miss a minute of gameplay from NBC on KUAM TV 8 or from CBS on KUAM TV 11. We're bringing you all the action and excitement brought to you locally by Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape and Docomo Pacific. Catch SportsLink on the KUAM News Morning Show, The Link, every Friday for the latest sports news, game schedules, athlete profiles, and more. SportsLink airs every Friday across the multi-platforms of KUAM. Tune in to the broadcast on Breeze 93.9 FM, on KUAM TV 11, live stream through the KUAM News Facebook page, or view highlights on YouTube, KUAM News Facebook, and Instagram page. SportsLink is brought to you by Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape. The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV8 or from CBS on KUAM TV11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentations, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Docomo Pacific, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications.
KUAM Communications continues our perpetuation of our Chamorro culture, language, and heritage, with features available to our listening and viewing audience, including streaming of Chamorro music 24 hours per day on Isla Digital Radio on KUAM.com and the KUAM News app. Chamorro News Update, weekdays on the link and the KUAM News YouTube channel. Conversations about life in our Chamorro language podcast, Cuentos Tapoco, with Kin Conception, seasonal specials, shows, and other features highlighting the beauty of our language, culture, and history. It's a new era of our continued commitment to our Chamorro heritage. Isla, watch, listen, stream. Viva Isla!
On Breeze 93.9 FM.
The link is back, everybody, on KUAM. Thank you so much for rolling with us this morning. Chris Barnett is here. I'm Jason Salas. DJ Joser is making all the technical stuff happen. Sabrina is on the road dropping a little one off to school, so please drive safely, Bree. We'll see you real soon. We want to tell you what is going on around the island today as far as services, if you need to avail of them. COVID vaccine booster clinics, of course, continue at the village level. And today, Tuesday and Wednesday, November 8th through the 10th, Mangilao, Barrigada, Talampago Ordit, Mongong Totumaiti, and Jonia. That is a whole lot of villages. You can be served at the UOG Fieldhouse if you are a resident of any of those central villages. Once again, Mangilao, Barrigada, Talampago Ordit, MTM, or Jonia. Starting at 8:30 in the morning and going until 1:30 in the afternoon. So it's a pretty good chunk of time from today through Wednesday. Central villagers can go to the UOG Fieldhouse and get a booster if you do qualify. The qualification for that, you have to be 65 or over, 18 or over with underlying medical conditions, or if you work in a certain environment, if you're exposed to certain people, or if you care for someone. Once again, we encourage you to check out Public Health's website to see that. If you need the vaccination clinic today, of course, you can register at tinyurl.com/VAXGuam. If you would like to get the vaccination, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. also at the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse. And in Sinanya today, speaking of Central Island villages, starting at 9 a.m., going from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. And they're going to take a break for lunch. And then 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. over at the Sinanya Mayor's office, there will be food commodities distributions for residents in that village. There are 450 kits, Chris. And it's a really, really good good collection of food, high protein, high nutritional value. If you are in need, please head to the Sinahani Mayor's office if you are a resident of that village and take advantage of that. Thank you.
All right, 7:04, just a really quick break, and we're coming back with Attorney Mike Pangolina and more on this mandate from President Biden coming up on the link. Good morning.
Get yourself TV schedules, upcoming sports, or special presentations, or what you may have missed over the busy week you had? Well, look no further than KUAM Digital Digest. This weekly emailed newsletter puts all kinds of information in the hands of subscribers each and every week. Just subscribe, and we will make sure you keep up with your favorites and stay informed and entertained throughout it all. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab, give us your email address, and you are all set. Brought to you in digital partnership with King's Restaurant and Ruby Tuesday Guam. It's the KUAM Digital Digest, your weekly guide to the latest information and best entertainment on the stations and platforms of KUAM.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore. Stop on by and visit our showroom today. We offer everyday low prices on all major outdoor power equipment like bush cutters, chainsaw, power washer, generators, and more. Need service, repair, maintenance? Well, check out Guam's best superstore only at Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, located in Barragata along Army Drive between Submarina and Besta Market. Call 735-7446 for more information. Now shipping to surrounding islands. Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Want a better look at your spending? With Money Map, you can automatically create budgets and manage where your money is going. Know when you have a green light or when it's time to slow down. Maybe cook more meals at home this week. Set your goals, track your progress, and find your way to exactly where you want to be. With Money Map from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. It all starts with yes.
To my girl, oh love, 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 the love that I've been waiting for, darling, Lord of mercy, see even if you're lonely, I'll be, girl, will I be waiting at your door, darling, cause there is something that I have to say now, what that thing, oh girl.
Hey, 707 on the link. It's Monday. Good morning, Jay.
It is a good morning. You know, I want to send a special shout out real quick to, I don't know exactly which church it is, but I'm going to find out because, you know, like over at the Harmon Fitness Trail right up the street from us. I know they've been doing this for the past couple of weekends, maybe even the last 3 weekends, but they'll go there like late afternoon. And I can tell they're from a church because, you know, they set up like this tent right at the beginning of the fitness trail. And, you know, they're all still dressed in their Sunday best. I guess they just got out of service or, you know, they came, you know, they had lunch and then they came there. But they actually just stand there and they pass out water to people who are exercising.
Wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely really amazing. These like young people in their 20s and they just go there and, you know, they greet you with a nice smile. It's like, hey, would you like some water? And obviously that is, you know, their ministry. But it's wonderful, and they're really good.
It's holy water, right? Yeah.
Holy water.
Yep. Waka, 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 waka. Good one, Joe. 708. Let's head into the KUAM News Link Zoom room where Attorney Mike Pangilinan of SHRM, that's the Society of Human Resource Management
Yep.
Managers.
An organization that has taken on exponential value like over the last year as far as the number of edge cases that they have to consider and now work with and everything. Well, Mike, I'm sure you would agree.
Right. What's an edge case, Jay?
These little particular situations that, you know, employees now have, employers have to deal with. And, you know.
Thank you for human resources explaining that to us. Mike, so we brought you on here. There was a couple of mandates that came down from President Biden, but the one that a lot of people are talking about is the one the Biden administration rolled out on last Thursday. 2 different vaccine rules covering more than 100 million workers. The first course deadline, January 4th. The first rule issued by OSHA, the Occupational Safety Health Administration, covers companies with 100 or more employees and applies to an estimated 84 million workers. Companies must ensure either that their workers are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 by January 4th or that they test negative for the coronavirus at least once a week. Workers must be paid time off to get vaccinated. We'll get into all that stuff. But I guess, Mike, obviously, I think I saw that there was already a challenge to this mandate. What are you kind of tracking from the beginning of hearing this to now?
Well, yeah, you know, it just came out. You're right. And it's good morning, Chris and Sabrina.
Morning.
It's, you know, we knew it was coming, right? We'd heard that, you know, that the Biden administration wanted to implement this rule that would apply, this policy that would apply to businesses with 100 employees or more. So we knew it was coming, and we didn't know what form it was going to take. And you know, when I heard about it last week that it had come out as an OSHA standard, I thought, I mean, the first thing that came to mind was I don't want to say clever way to roll this out, but it's also, I'd probably say innovative, because, OSHA, as you may know, is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, which is part of the U.S. Department of Labor. And it is the branch, or not the branch, but the agency within the federal government that whose mission is to protect workplace safety and to promote workplace safety through regulation and through educational measures. And so, to me, when I hear that it's an OSHA standard, I think, okay, well, if you want to make this rule more difficult to challenge, this is one way to do it, because all businesses are familiar with OSHA, and OSHA really is, almost all companies are subject to OSHA. So especially private employers, they're used to having, sometimes the businesses have OSHA inspectors come out and do inspections of their workplace. In OSHA, if you look at OSHA's regulations in the federal regulation, Code of Federal Regulations, you see that there's really a OSHA standard almost applicable to everything, right? So anything you have, if there's, if you're putting up using a ladder in the workplace, or if you have a forklift, or what kind of ventilation you have to have, or your fire exits, all these things, it's heavily regulated in the sense that there's a standard, a safety standard that applies to almost all aspects of workplace. And so adding this one, this is a mandatory vaccination policy. There's already a structure in place for enforcement. You have already a set of standards. This is an additional standard, which I think, kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to challenge, because OSHA has a track record of protecting workplace safety. And so what they did in this case is they came up with an emergency temporary standard. Normally the standards are going to be promulgated over time, right? So they have public comment, and there's a whole process that they go through that takes time before they actually roll out a new standard. In this case, they've got their law, which created OSHA, which says that if OSHA identifies a situation or circumstance that puts employees in the workplace in grave danger, they can do an emergency temporary standard and put something in place immediately. In fact, they're required to act immediately if they find that there's a grave danger to an employee in the workplace. And so what they've done with this standard is they've said there is a grave danger. And the way they've articulated the grave danger, they say the grave danger is unvaccinated employees are in grave danger of getting COVID and being hospitalized and potentially dying from COVID. And so it's the unvaccinated employees that they believe are the employees that need to be protected and that are in grave danger. And the way that OSHA has determined to address that, the best way is through vaccination. And how do you get people to get vaccinated? You create a standard that says if you're going to work in a workplace with 100 employees or more, you have to be vaccinated. They have alternatives. There's alternatives to that. The alternative is either your policy can be that you require vaccination, or you can opt to have weekly COVID tests at least once a week. If you don't want to be vaccinated, you can be tested and present a negative test once a week. And so, and then they've built in there, of course, is all the familiar sort of exceptions that we've heard about, right? So it's not going to apply. Well, in one case, it's not going to apply to employees that are not actually in the workplace. So if your employees routinely work remotely, or if you're even a particular employee that always works remotely, that employee will not have to be vaccinated or submit to weekly tests. But once they re-enter the workplace, if it's an employee that works remotely and then they're going to transition back to in-person, then within 7 days before they go back to the workplace, they have to be tested. So it gives companies the option, of either mandatory vaccine or the alternate vaccination or testing. And it's, looking through it, it's a really long standard. I mean, in terms of the amount of volume of detail that's in it. And the reason why part of the reason why is because OSHA really wanted to justify this, right? So they went through, this thing is 500 plus pages. It's a huge document.
Dang.
Because they wanted to go into detail, because they anticipated obviously the reaction, right? So they want to go into detail to explain why they're doing this, their policy behind it, why they've reached the conclusion that employees that are unvaccinated are in grave danger. So they go through the statistics and the CDC, findings on the likelihood of getting severe illness or dying from COVID if you're unvaccinated as opposed to if you're vaccinated. So there's lots of data that they've put in there, pages and pages of references to justify it. But the bottom line is they've implemented this as an OSHA standard, which I think is something that kind of makes it feel like sort of a natural thing. It's what OSHA always does. And there's lots of OSHA standards. People are familiar with it.
So it is coming down from on high. I mean, literally and figuratively, it is from the commander in chief, and then it was, adopted by OSHA. So it's pretty much like at the highest level you can be, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Chris mentioned it's subject to challenge. I've heard that, there's 3 or 4 governors that have already committed to challenging it. I think Florida, Texas, Georgia have already said that they're going to challenge it. But it's
Florida, what? No way. Mike, Florida, that's got to be a typo.
That's a shocker. Yeah. But and they're anticipating it, so they've tried to kind of build up their defense against that by really loading up the standard with backing and research and this and even case law. I mean, there's lots of legal authority in there to explain sort of why they have the right to do this. And they've even added in at the end of the standard, it says that they're going to continue to assess this and determine that if there's no longer a grave danger to employees, then they won't continue this standard. So I would also mention that part of why the standard is it's almost 500 pages long is because it's not just a temporary standard, but it's also a proposed permanent standard. So within there, they're soliciting comment. They're saying, look, let us know how this affects you. Let us know if it's working, not working, what portions of it work, don't work, and they're considering making it a permanent standard that would end up in the Code of Federal Regulations as a permanent standard. Right now, it's just temporary. And so, I think that it's not something that should get businesses too freaked out, really, because a lot of what's in here, other than, obviously the mandatory vaccination policy is something that a lot of businesses don't have an effect. Some businesses probably already are doing that and some aren't, but there's other portions of this that are not so unfamiliar. One of the key provisions in there is that if an employee tests positive and is going through the testing, the employer has to take that employee out of the workplace and, don't let them back into the workplace until they've gotten over it and tested negative and there's enough time has gotten by. See, those are things that businesses already do, right? And, maintaining records, they want you to maintain a roster. So once you roll out your policy, you have to have a roster of your employees and what their vaccination status is. Are they vaccinated or not? And keep that record. Because, from OSHA standpoint, the way OSHA enforces their regulations is through inspections. If people complain about your business, an OSHA inspector may visit you, or you may get a notification. They may want to take a look and see how you're operating. So one of the things is to have a good record. And, that's similar to what businesses do with their login sheets. When you go to a business, you write down your name and number. And so they've some of these things are not so different from what's already being done. But, it's something that exists now. And I mean, it's part of the law. It definitely applies to most private businesses in Guam. Mm-hmm. They are looking at, they're going to see how this works with the idea that maybe they'll expand it. It also says inside the standard, it says that they're considering making it applicable to smaller businesses. One of the the 2 main reasons why they didn't make it applicable to businesses of less than 100 employees is, one, because they think that there's more of a danger when there's more employees, that there's more likelihood of a spread. Yeah. And then 2, they know this is going to be disruptive of a business, right? So if once you're now required to comply with this, which is going to be beginning of January, it's going to affect some businesses where if they have a lot of employees that don't want to be vaccinated, it may affect their staffing. And so they know that that's going to have a bigger impact and be more difficult for a smaller business to deal with than a larger one. So that's another reason that they're not making it applicable to smaller businesses. And then they've also, as Chris mentioned, that they delayed the implementation. It's not. I know that January 4 is the deadline that they're now saying this week, and you have to be ready to comply. What the standard actually says is it came out on November 5, which is this past Friday, and you have 30 days to implement your policy, right? So by December 5, you have to have your policy. You have to start trying to comply, but they're not going to really force you to do anything. It's not going to really affect you until after January 4 because they give you 60 days before you have to implement that mandatory testing thing, right? So once you adopt your policy, and what they want to do is they think, okay, well, if 60 days, that's enough time for employees who are not yet vaccinated to get vaccinated, because it takes time, right? Most of the time you got to get 2 doses, and then you have to wait a couple of weeks after the second dose before you're considered fully vaccinated. So the whole goal is to increase vaccination rates, get as many employees vaccinated as possible. So to achieve that, they want to give businesses time to actually get there before they actually start requiring the testing. And so that's what it is. I mean, there's a few things that are in the standard that are very typical for OSHA standards. Generally speaking, when you have a workplace injury, you find out that somebody has been injured on the job, especially if it's if somebody dies on the job or somebody's hospitalized. Most of the time you're required to report that to OSHA, a fatality or a hospitalization, within fatalities within 8 hours of learning that there's a fatality, and then if it's hospitalization within 24 hours. And I think that's because that may signal a very severely hazardous condition in your business, and they want to know about it. So that's part of this standard. If someone dies from COVID, one of your employees dies from COVID, you're supposed to notify OSHA within 8 hours of finding that out.
Yeah.
And if they're hospitalized, within 24 hours of finding that out.
Yeah, Mike, I've got a question for you, if I may, because I remember Chris said something when we had you on several months ago, and he said so. It was an interesting point that he made. It was a little bit joking at the time, but could we actually see maybe the future of industry would be right now that organizations that are very OSHA centric, like construction companies, utility companies, they've always in the plant, they've got that big sign that says X number of days since our last industrial accident or our last injury and everything. Could we actually see that across industry where you say X number of days since our last positive employee or last infection, or the last day we had to shut down to do deep sanitization? If not for employee confidence, then customer peace of mind.
I think so. I mean, I think that it's companies now I think promote their safety, and promote even now, right? Companies will talk about we're a safe workplace. In their commercials, they'll show people wiping down, and they show how much effort they put into safety in protecting the public against COVID transmission. Mm-hmm. So I could definitely see that being added to their sort of list of how they present themselves. But speaking of construction companies, I would also mention that there's a couple exceptions on this policy. Some companies are already subject to a different standard, right? Some companies in the healthcare industry, health clinics, people that they're in the business of providing healthcare where they have a high likelihood of COVID patients being in their premises, they've got a healthcare standard already in place that they're bound by, right? So those businesses would not have to follow this. The other ones there's federal contractors have a federal contracting standard that applies to them, a COVID-related standard for federal contractors and subcontractors on federal projects. Those businesses also should follow that standard, and it would not be subject to this one. So, so there's, like I said, there's a few exceptions. Also, it doesn't apply to employees who are routinely working remotely and don't come into the workplace very often. But that's, those are the key features of the standard. I think that it's something that not a shock to businesses that this is happening.
Have you made it through all 500 pages of the report?
Not quite.
That's not light reading too. I mean, that's some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah. So one interesting aspect of this is that it's now a federal standard, right? So and then you hear that prior to this, we've had executive orders, so there's been local regulation that has affected private businesses and mandates in terms of how they have to operate, mask wearing, and vaccination. Now that there's a federal standard, OSHA standards, this federal standard preempts, local regulation in these areas. So an interesting question then is, if there's any conflict between, if there's a local regulation that comes out that's not consistent with this, and most likely, here it may, and the local regulation may be even more stringent than this OSHA standard. But if there's any inconsistency, this federal standard would preempt it. This federal standard is the standard to follow, because OSHA, once they implement a standard, they don't want the state or local government to do anything that's inconsistent with it. And especially if there's, and they specifically said this in the standard, if there's any local regulation, like in some states, like these states that are challenging this, they already have regulations in those states that ban mandatory vaccination policies and even ban mandatory mask wearing, right? And so this standard says that those laws are preempted by this, that those laws are invalidated by this standard that has just come out. And that's probably why you're going to get these challenges, because they've already got inconsistent local regulations in those places that would be in violation of this.
Mike, so this mandate, of course, affecting businesses with 100 or more employees. How many businesses are we talking about like that on Guam?
I don't really know what the number is. I would think, it's probably proportionately less than in other places.
Right.
But I think, in Guam, because we have, our main industry is tourism, right? So it's our hotel industry. They've got, most of those companies are above that threshold, and we've got some logistics companies, and, a lot of our big employers are government agencies, so they're not subject, local government agencies are not subject to this, but yeah, I don't really know what the breakdown would be in terms of the number that would be above that threshold.
And Mike, given that it's only been about maybe 72 hours, give or take, since the president, made that announcement and everything like that, have you, with SHRM on Guam, have your colleagues locally had any sort of talks, or have you been hearing any buzz about any sort of pushback, reactions, and everything about what that might mean here?
No, we had not yet, but the SHRM group immediately reacted. They had a briefing as soon as it came out, and it came out, in the States, right? So it was middle of the night for us, but we had one of our board members attended a 3 a.m. briefing just so that we sort of knew that it happened, and that we'd be prepared to actually explain it, to the community out here once it hit the news here.
How big is this federal appeals panel on Saturday temporary blocking this mandate? Mike, is this you see this happening every other day, and is it going to slow the rollout of this thing?
No, I don't. I don't actually. I'm not. Haven't really looked into that yet on that one. So I've been focused on kind of getting the familiar with this standard. So I haven't really switched over to that. But that's next on my list.
Yeah, I would say you've got quite a lot on your plate, Mike.
Yeah.
Your agenda and your to-do list is probably a mile long.
I can imagine this thing coming out last week and his whole calendar for this week, blip, 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 all filled up really quick.
But I know there's going to be challenges. I know there's going to be a lot of public comment. And that's what they really want. They want public comment. They want input. And I think, they sort of, in anticipation of all the potential negative reaction, they've sort of built that into the standard where they say, they have specific questions in there. They give you a link that you can send all of your comments to, and then they're going to receive everything and kind of go from there. So that process is going to be ongoing throughout the entire time that this is in effect. But I don't think it's going to delay anything. I mean, I think that it's already delayed. The pushback that they got when they first decided to do this already caused it to be delayed until the beginning of January, because businesses pushed for that. When they knew this was coming, they said, we're going into the holidays. And we have, the last thing we need now is to have more staffing challenges. It's hard enough to get staff now going into the busy holiday season for retailers and businesses, that if we have this added obstacle, this added sort of thing that's going to further reduce our staffing, it's going to really cripple us. So because of that, they thought, okay, well, let's start this in the early January. But I don't think that they're going to let, any sort of appeals or public comment or legal challenges get in the way of implementing this, because they already sort of feel like they're waiting a little too long as it is, starting in January. Because if you make if you reach the conclusion that there's grave danger, then you need to act quick. So it's hard to say, well, that's the conclusion, but we're not going to start this till 60 days from now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, so that's.
But I mean, we're living in a time where state of emergency is the definition of state of emergency. I mean, that's got to be tweaked out a little bit. So grave danger, it depends on, I guess, who you're talking to.
True.
So what work does SHRM have to do, Mike, with this mandate? I mean, I'm pretty sure HR divisions across the country and the island are trying to figure things out. So what does a business on Guam who has 100 or more employees, what do they have to do to begin kind of walking down that implementation road?
Yeah, so SHRM is there to support businesses, right? And we provide a resource in terms of helping them not only understand what the requirements are, but then offering them sort of a template for how to actually implement it, right? So the first thing businesses have to do is adopt the policy. It has to be mandatory vaccination or the alternate vaccination or weekly testing. So the business has to decide which of those two is going to be its policy, and then actually adopt it in a written policy. And so, SHRM can provide guidance on that. SHRM members have access to templates so that we can give you sort of, here's the basic format of this, and you can now kind of tweak it for your company. But so it's, I don't think it's going to be particularly difficult in terms of the sort of, the paperwork and the record keeping, because businesses generally they do a good job of keeping records now on, for COVID and for all employment purposes. So now it's just a matter of, the businesses have lots of policies, right? So here's another one. You got to adopt this sort of policy, get it in place, get it in writing, and get a system in place where once you have the information from the employees, that it gets entered into your system. Maintaining confidentiality, that's very important. All of that information is considered medical information, so you have to maintain it as confidential. But most businesses are used to doing that in other contexts, so I don't think it's going to be too hard. But SHRM will help. We'll be available to provide advice and about, to help companies have the documentation in the form that is most efficient and accessible to them.
All right. Anything in closing? You good, Jay?
Busy times for our friends in HR these days.
Yeah, HR is often, I've learned this from being part of SHRM in the last year. I'm not an HR professional, but I do employment law. But most of the board members are HR managers and professionals. And now I realize, there's, over the years, they really sort of feel like second-class executives within an organization, because they're sort of, people roll their eyes HR, they're just always the party poopers, always the ones that, they're not necessarily at the same level as other executives. That's the way they've always felt that they've been viewed, but not anymore, because now they're the ones that are kind of the key executives within a team over this last couple of years, because they're the ones that really have to solve a lot of the company's problems that they're going through. And so the importance of HR has really become well known over the last 18 months. And there's been so much more respect now for the HR community, because businesses now realize how critical HR is to their business.
Absolutely. My dad and my sister worked in HR for many, many years. So I'm well aware like how important and how deceivingly difficult that profession is and everything like that. So nothing but respect for you and your colleagues, and thank you for your leadership in this regard, Mike. There's a lot of work ahead, clearly.
Right on, Mike. Thank you,
Jason.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
I'll see you. There you go, Attorney Mike Pangilinan of Sherm Yajay.
And real quick, Chris, I guess since we're talking about HR real quick, the former Chief Human Resources Officer of UOG, do you know Larry Gamboa, passed away over the weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's from Agate. Really, really good guy. I've known him since high school, like a member of the Guam national volleyball team. He played in like SPG and everything like that. So like our prayers to Valerie and to Courtney and to Larry's family and everybody who knew him, because he's a really, really good guy.
We had a comment here. OMG, is Michael Pangilinan from Dedido? I think we were classmates back in the 70s. I don't know. We lost him. But no, he's too young to have gone to school in the 70s.
He is from Dedido. Yeah, he lives in Dedido.
All right. Hey, it's 7:35.
Speaking of Dedido.
We're coming back with the mayors. We got Mayor Jesse Allig and Mayor Melissa Savares here. Remember, we've been talking about on the show the rollout of this foster family program that they're very ambitiously rolling out to try and recruit 19 more foster families before Christmas. Okay, you talk about the state of emergency. That's one right there. And we're so glad to help the Mayor's Council of Guam with that. It's coming up next right here on The Link. Good morning.
This year, Giving Tuesday falls on November 30th.
And though our community is still facing some of the most challenging of times, there's no better time
to volunteer, donate, spread awareness, and do whatever you can to help those in need.
Let's continue to build a wave of generosity
that creates a ripple effect for all in our community.
Throughout the month of November, Team KUAM Care Force will be showcasing some of our favorite charities
to inform, inspire, and introduce you to the wonderful things these groups are doing for our community.
We're also calling on you to donate to our food pantry and toy drive to benefit the Salvation Army at our KUAM studios.
Any weekday between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. starting on November 1st.
Or stop by our second annual donation drive-thru event on November 30th.
You can also visit our studios to sign our Kindness for Caregivers wall to show our healthcare workers our appreciation.
So be a giver and join the KUAM Care Force this year in making a difference this Giving Tuesday.
Giving Tuesday 2021 is presented in partnership with our community partner, APL. Better Ways.
Let's get merry during the most wonderful time of the year by making spirits bright. KUAM Communications and Coast 360 want to highlight your decorations and lights by flooding the social media pages of KUAM with your videos and photos. Finish your holiday setup, snap a few shots or video of your delightful display, and send it to us through social media or email them to promotions@kuam.com. Check out our posts every Friday or tune in to KUAM News Weekend Edition for a special montage of the submissions certain to be making spirits bright with every broadcast. Warmest holiday wishes from KUAM Communications and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
This holiday season, we're once again bringing together the island's largest array of local vendors for a special innovative way for you to shop, broadcast, and go digital.
Uno Mixed. We're mixing it up on the last Thursday of every month with a look at lifestyle, entertainment, food, and so much more on the stations, networks, and digital platforms of KUAM Communications. Uno Mixed is presented to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Pepsi.
Join KUAM every Wednesday on Primetime for Inside Business. It's our new weekly segment featuring the struggle of Guam's businesses during this global pandemic. We'll hear from industry leaders about the difficult decisions they were forced to make to implement cutoffs, layoffs, and shorten hours just to survive. It's the other side effect of COVID, the island's economic crisis. We'll also feature new businesses that managed to open and thrive during these challenging times. It's Inside Business every Wednesday on KUAM News Primetime.
This holiday season, we're once again bringing together the island's largest array of local vendors for a special innovative way for you to shop, broadcast, and go digital with Team KUAM. Join us on Sunday, November 28th for the annual Christmas Pops Virtual Holiday Market at 12 noon on KUAM TV8 and the KUAM News Facebook page, plus additional show times through December 11th. We'll also be featuring vendors daily with posts with QR codes and links on our social media pages beginning Monday, November 29th, and hosting an exclusive Christmas Pops website for your one-stop shopping. It's a safe and convenient way for you to shop local this holiday season. To reserve your spot, email promotions@kuam.com today. Virtual space is limited.
Presented by UOG School of Business and Public Administration.
Okay, good morning, 740. The Link. Pacific Points, Cavo Enterprises, ITN, and Jack in the Box. Coming up this morning, we do work week weather every Monday with Landon Eilert of the National Weather Service. Also, we're continuing to bring in our parade of officials from the Commonwealth of the Northern Marianas Islands. This morning, I'm looking forward to this one. We're getting the chair of she's the chair. I forget what her actual title is. She's like the big boss of the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation.
Oh, she is the chief executive officer.
That's the CEO.
And all of the staff there and everybody in the CNMI
They call her
basically refers
CEO.
to her as CEO.
CEO Esther Munya of the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation.
She's a great interview too.
This is awesome. I'm
really,
so excited
really good to
about
talk to.
this. And also, we're getting Senator Tello Taitagui. This is pretty cool. We did a great story, awesome reportage from Sabrina Salas Matanani about this. Isn't that crazy? How many of you guys getting up, punching in this morning, slaving away for the man, wishing you could get a raise, $1, $2, $11,000? Yes, we did a story on it. It's KUAM.com. And Senator Tello was introduced to Bill as a reaction, so she's coming in to talk about that. And then we're getting Primo Roland Atta, Veterans Commission.
Yeah, so he is one of the leaders, and everybody knows Roro from his work with the Guam Hogs Motorcycle Club and everything like that. But he's also a proud United States veteran. Gave us a absolutely stunning soundbite last week on the news about how veterans have to be appreciated, recognized, taken care of, and cherished as Guamanians and as Americans and everything like that. So he's going to come on and talk about what's going on for Thursday's Veterans Day ceremony, but also many of the challenges that our beloved vets continue to face, which is a dreadful oversight.
Right. 742. Let's go in with the Mayor's Council of Guam. We have President Mayor Jesse Allig and also Mayor Savares, Melissa Savares of Dedido, Guam's most populous village. We got the graphics, guys. We've been kind of talking about this, and I saw the rollout over the weekend, Mayor Jesse. And this is the, what is it called exactly?
The Gift of Family. That's our foster care recruitment campaign name. It's the Gift of Family. And we've done that. We're doing it because we feel that there is a need. There's a greater need to recruit more families for our foster care system, as opposed to donating food items or clothing, shoes. A lot of our people already do that. And so the foster organizations know that they receive a lot of help already from the island when it comes to those types of things. But one of the things that we asked was, what is it that you need and how could we help? And the one thing they said was, we need foster parents, we need foster homes. And so the Mayor's Council voted on it, and we decided that it was best that instead of having a Christmas party, that we would focus our efforts on putting a campaign together to recruit at least 19 foster families. And so it is called the Gift of Family. But I want to let Mayor Savares talk more about that, because I'm always talking about it, and then I can talk about something else that we're doing in December for part of that campaign. So did you want to play something, or Mayor Savares, did you want to talk about our campaign since you've been with us from the very beginning?
Well, like you had mentioned, Mayor Alec, with the numbers, how many foster children need homes and how many foster families we actually have registered with the Department of Public Health. So of course that that is our drive, and we're doing it collectively. Everybody is involved, so we see the need.
Madam Mayor, could you speak to the criteria of families or individuals that may actually qualify to foster? Because I know a lot of people think it's like, I'm unmarried or I'm a single parent, I probably don't qualify. My first cousin actually, she's a single mom and she's got 3 girls of her own already. She is now fostering 2 wonderful young children, and she's actually asking in our family chat if we would do the same.
Yes, and so that's what it is children are in need. Sometimes our families have crises in our communities, and we don't know what what the situations may be, but there are just not enough homes, foster homes here. And the criteria is a family that is willing, and you don't have to be husband, wife. You could be a single parent, the partners that have a place. And of course, it's a loving home that can accommodate a child in an emergency situation. You must have, I've been to an orientation, and the child must be able to have their own sleeping area. They can, they have to have their own bed. They can't be on the floor or in your bed, or you're sharing a bed. Maybe if they come as siblings, they can share like a full-size bed, or a bed with the sibling of, if there are two children that come in together. But of course, male and female cannot. And the families that we're looking for, we know as mayors, and that's why it's something that we took up, is because we know who the families that we can personally approach in some cases, and we're also working it that way. There's some empty nesters. Their children have gone to college or have left and are not there, and so they have the extra space that they can accommodate. And like you said, Jason, you have a cousin who is a single mom and had the extra space and was willing to take additional children to be as part of their household. And we're looking for families that have a big heart, to embrace these children. Of course, like I had mentioned earlier, some of them we don't know what situation they're coming out of, but foster care is a temporary situation. It's a temporary placement for children, and so they can decide what age group they would like when they go through the training, and then they also need to get licensed. So Department of Public Health is a licensing process, and so that's what we're looking for. And we're working with all our faith-based organizations as well to try to recruit through the parishes, through the churches, and because we know that we have people in the communities.
Yeah, my cousin's going around telling everybody she knows. She goes, it's not my marital status that was the deciding factor. It is, can I provide a loving environment? And that's ultimately the big deciding factor. And she goes, a lot of people qualify for this, and they probably assume that they don't.
Is there a salary requirement, mayors?
No. There is, they'll come because during the application process, you'll go through an orientation, but during the application process, there is a home inspection to make sure that you'll have the space, that your house is conducive to caring for an additional child or children, whatever the case may be. And sometimes it's so temporary because the parents, one of the parents already qualifies for housing, but it's a matter of looking for that safe housing for them to house their children in.
And one of the things that I might want to add to that is one of the questions that came up during our conversations and putting this together was, how about those families that are that are renting from GURA or public assistance? So the answer is yes, they can certainly be foster parents. They still have to follow the criteria as far as licensing goes. Of course, though, their GURA benefits and their public assistance benefits will change depending on how long the child is going to stay with them. If it's temporary, like Mayor Savares had said, sometimes there's just emergency placement, then typically nothing changes. But if it's a longer term, if they feel like it's a longer term because of whatever situation the children are in or the child is in, then public health will help the potential foster parent work with GURA and with their assistance programs to make sure that they comply and that they also continue to receive their benefits. So one of the things that a lot of people ask is, so what do we get in return? And of course, like Mayor Savares said, you have to have a big heart, right? That's definitely the one thing. I mean, if you don't have the heart, if you don't have the love, it's probably going to be a little difficult or a lot difficult. but there is financial compensation, and it may not be enough to give you dinner at a hotel every night, but it's certainly, you know, compensation for the things that you're going to do for this child or for the children. And there's also insurance, that the children are covered under insurance, as you might know. And there's definitely all these other support groups like Harvest House, who is a partner in our campaign, and of course the Archdiocese of Agana as well. So there's so many different organizations that are willing to support all our foster families and our potential foster families.
Have you guys had any interest since you started rolling out the campaign?
Yeah, we've actually, Mayor Savares, I have to say that and I always say it because I really am very grateful that Mayor Savares jumped on, because she is the largest village, and she's got a lot. She can tell you the stories, but I have also received a lot of inquiries and just questions. And that's what we want, is we want them to ask questions, and we want to take these residents who are interested, the least bit interested, to an informational meeting that Harvest House hosts every Thursday. And again, that's how we're partnering with Harvest House, is because they already have these established meetings, informational meetings. We want to bring more people there so they can hear more about it, right? And they can make the decision after that and continue to discern and pray over their abilities to become foster parents. Mayor Savares, did you want to add to that as far as
yeah, and even if you're a working parent and you're worried you're going to take a child in and they may need childcare, Department of Public Health works with the foster families to provide block grant for childcare. So that would be something that I know people are worried about. What if I'm working and my boss won't let me take off to take care of the child? If the child needs childcare, there is block grant that Public Health will provide so that the child can be in a childcare facility.
Are you seeing a lot of homes with parents with children already, and it's the children actually encouraging the parents to get involved? Because I've heard a couple of cases like that where you have young children and they said, "Oh, mommy, daddy, I heard about this program. There are lots of kids in need. Can we please do this?" And as soon as they get in, they're like, "Hey, this young person's living with me now. They're my peer. This is my brother. This is my sister. This is a member of my family." And it's the kids who really drive that atmosphere of love.
Yes, and I know that there's some people that are inquiring because what happens is their child has a classmate, or they've heard it from the school that, and so that was the case. If it's a short term, where are the children? If then they're in school age children, where would they have to transfer to the school in our district area or attendance area? And so those were questions that came up. And if it's a short term, we will transportation will be provided for if the foster family cannot provide the transportation. Of course, there's arrangements that will be made to make sure that the child gets to school. But if it's long term and you have school age children and they're there for more than a month, they're going to be there with you long term, you would transfer the children and they'll go to the same school that your children will go to.
There's so many different organizations and things that the Mayor's Council do and can do. What was it about this particular issue that made you guys decide we want to do a campaign on finding foster parents?
I think what it was is Mayor Alec actually went to a meeting with the Department of Public Health and Social Services, and he saw there's only 40 families and 400 plus children, and the shelters that we have, the emergency shelters for children are not enough. And so it's not about, like he said, giving food and clothing. It's about providing that safe haven for them, and where are they going to go? And so of course we you have to have a big heart, right, to be able to want to do this. And like I said, I went to an orientation several years ago. A friend of mine said, "Hey, I'm really interested. Do you want to go with me?" And I'm interested, but I'm also a caregiver for 2 elderly parents, and so trying to juggle our schedule at work and then take care of my parents, and then the space, I could make the space, but I have a 93-year-old father and an 86-year-old mom. And so trying to foster during the time that I'm also caring for them is going to be difficult. But it's something that's always, been in the back of my mind. But I know that there's families that have, like I said, we know the empty nesters, they're by themselves, they're looking for things to do. It's people to help is what it is. And so, that's something, and maybe Mayor Alec can add more to his excitement.
Well, that's it, actually.
There's that smile.
That's it.
Well, no, I did attend that meeting. I was invited to a technical assistance meeting, and that was the first thing that came out. Was at the time, I believe it was 480 foster children, and there were little less than 50 licensed homes, and much less. I mean, there were less than, I think there were only 30 active ones. And so when you look at 30 active foster homes and about 500 foster children, so you ask yourself, well, where are these kids? And so what's going on with this is that, like Mayor Savars mentioned, that there are the government-run shelters, there are the nonprofit organizations, and all of those places are full. And so they go to relative placement, and that's if there's a grandparent or if there's an auntie or an uncle that's that could possibly take them in, so they certainly go there. But then what happens to the rest, right? And it made me think about it, and it made me propose it to the council because, like I mentioned before, we're so concerned about everything else in life, but we forget about the real lives that matter. I mean, these children, they're neglected, they're abused, they're innocent, it wasn't their fault. So how do we become, how do we be good citizens, and how do we be good role models to these children to, ultimately live, a fruitful life and become also contributing citizens in our society? And as mayors and vice mayors, day in and day out, like I said, we do all these different things, and we see these children. Mayor Savars has to see these children. She has 45,000 people, and coming in and out of our offices in my small village, I do see the children as well. And what do we do? So this is the least that we can do as leaders in our villages. I feel that, like Mayor Savars also mentioned, we know who we can reach out to personally. We want people to ask us questions. What you'll see in our PSAs and in our flyers that we'll push out through social media, it says to call your mayor's office. And it says to call your mayor's office because we would like every mayor's office to be equipped with the basic information so that we can get these interested people to an informational meeting or directly to public health. And that's certainly our hope. And I know that at the very beginning, we put a timeline and a deadline by December, by Christmas, to get 19 families. And that's that's a big goal. And of course, we don't want to sway from that, but at the same time, we won't stop. If by December we need to continue the campaign, we will continue through May 2022. And that's because there's, everybody has, like, when we first started it, we didn't even officially send any kind of PSA out or any kind of flyer, or we weren't really telling people to call us. People were already calling us, and people were already reaching out. So that's the awareness is what we would like. And so, and I want to thank KOAM because you did invite us to come and record, and you did invite us to be a part of Giving Tuesday. And we're so grateful for the partnership because, people listen to you, and we want people to listen to us as well. And as far as awareness, and give us a call if we can help. If we can lead you to public health or to Harvest House.
Mayor, just forgive me if this is an obvious answer, but do military families, can they qualify as well? Because I'm just thinking everybody. Many people would assume that when you say a military family, that would mean on the base, but yeah, there are many military families who live off base now.
Oh, and they're a large part of our foster care system. There are many of them. I think Mayor Savars knows that at one of our first meetings, I think Mayor Savars was a little alarmed at the initial statistics, knowing that there were more actually military involvement. And so now, it is confirmed that for sure the military is a big part of this. Mayor Savars, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, and so we've known several active duty military who, when they're done in one command or squadron, they're looking at another command or squadron that they can transfer to so that they can stay longer. I know one individual that was here for 8 years, and he moved from one squadron to another, and it was a promotion for him and an opportunity for him to stay a little longer. And both him and his wife, their families are both from stateside and from the U.S. mainland, but they were fostering, and so they wanted to stay as long as they could to help more children. And some of them actually even adopt. There's been an adoption process because unfortunately the child couldn't go back to their biological homes. But we see that, and many do go back though to their families at the end of the fostering. But one thing that we need to remember is that they're coming to us in crisis. And, some of them may have emotional issues because of the situation at home. So it's about, like Mayor Alex said, mentoring them, embracing them, loving them, and caring for them like we would our own children.
Which one of you came up with the title of it? Because when you say like the gift of family, I think that's brilliant, because is there any more valuable gift that you could give?
Actually, it was Vice Mayor Kevin Delgado that proposed it.
Well done, Mayor, Vice Mayor.
Yeah. So he wasn't able to join us this morning, but
I was excited. I thought we were going to get some singing on in the morning. That's why I was so excited. No offense, mayors.
And I wanted to add on to it, and I forgot what it was. I forgot the goal of foster care is reunification. And so we do want, in the end, the child to go back to their biological parents. But there's definitely those situations where foster parents end up adopting, right? And so is that possibility? It certainly is. And we see that there are many infants that, are in that situation. As a matter of fact, I know of one personally who has a child, a foster child, and this young girl has a sibling, an infant sibling that is separated. And so ultimately they want to reunify that family. But again, public health they're the determining factors in this, and the courts, right? It's really not us. What I do want to say, because I know it's already 8:00 or 8:02, but part of our campaign is to really promote it out in the villages, and that's where we're having our 19 villages Christmas display contest. And so every mayor's office is challenged to build a nice Christmas display at a prominent location in their village. And there's 3 prizes, first, second, and third prize. They're all cash prizes. I believe it's $2,000, $1,500, and $1,000. So it's a lot of cash. But the catch is that the cash is not going to go to the mayor's office itself or the mayor or their staff. It should benefit the foster families within their community, right, within their village. So whatever they win, it should benefit somehow, and it should go towards the foster families within their communities. If they don't have any foster families or foster children in their village, then it still needs to be used towards a foster care initiative. And so we're excited about that. The judging will be on December 12th at 6:30. And I'd like to see how KUM can be a part of that too. It'll be super cool to see all our 19 villages decorated.
We are in. We are absolutely in.
That's so cool.
Done and done.
Yeah. So we're excited about that. And then I do want to bring in Vice Mayor Kevin Delgado maybe next week,
right on,
and he can talk about another part of what we're doing in December to kind of get to the faith-based organizations, the Archdiocese of Afghan and the other denominations, because it really is kind of an infusion into their services that weekend of December 11 and 12 as well, for awareness, and also hopefully we'll spark some interest.
Well, Mayor, we're always glad to help. Just let us know what we got to do, where we got to go.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Mayor Savaris.
Sorry, wait, real quick. I got one teeny quick one since we have Mayor Savaris here. Mayor, who is the organization who painted that beautiful mural near the skate park, right across from Payless, Live Maulik. That's gorgeous.
Yeah. So what happened is we partnered with WestCare, and WestCare, WestCare is our drug and alcohol prevention, tobacco, and for children. So youths 14, I believe it's 14 to 17, OPEG. They contracted OPEG to do a art contest. So we had about 14 kids that came out and participated in that art contest workshop, and then they brainstormed, similar to strategic planning. They brainstormed, came up with a theme, and then so it was a partnership between WestCare, OPEG, Guam Home Center provided the paint, of course the Dedido Mayor's Office. So we'd just like to thank WestCare for initiating that.
It's really, really beautiful. Like I saw some kids when they were out there like painting, and I was like, oh wow, that's cool. And then like when it was done, I was like, wow, this looks great.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well done.
Thanks, mayors.
Okay.
Adios. Have a good week.
Have a good day. Have a good week.
All right, that's that. There you go. Monday morning, it's 8:06. We're KUAM FM. I got in Guam, and we're staying right here. Because there's, what is it, Jay, on TV?
Yeah, TV, we have sports coming up. I know we've got auto racing over on TV8 and football. The foosball is being played over on KUM TV 11.
All right, so
Aaron Rodgers probably not playing today. You may have heard.
There's a thing.
Yeah,
it's
a big thing.
All right, it's 8:06. Welcome to the link.
Let's get merry during the most wonderful time of the year by making spirits bright. KUAM Communications and Coast 360 want to highlight your decorations and lights by flooding the social media pages of KUAM with your videos and photos. Finish your holiday setup, snap a few shots or video of your delightful display, and send it to us through social media or email them to promotions@KUAM.com. Check out our posts every Friday or tune in to KUAM News Weekend Edition for a special montage of the submissions certain to be making spirits bright with every broadcast. Warmest holiday wishes from KUAM Communications and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
Okay, so I know we're all going to show our
my
own,
mom was just talking about that this weekend. She just said something like, oh, we should put up Christmas decorations. And I was like, what? It's November? Oh.
We're all going to show our own hometown biases here, but obviously I have a soft spot for Dedido. Joser is also from Dedido. Bree is going to represent Jigo, and you're basically the entire South, right?
South got it going on, though.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Belen, that's...
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Right on. Okay, it's on, guys. It's 8:08. Work week weather with Landon Eilert. We also have Esther Munia, the CEO of the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation out of the NMI. Senator Tello Taitagui and Roland Atta about the Veterans Commission, all coming up on the link at 8:08. It's Monday, November 8th. Let's go ahead and get into our 8 o'clock newscast for the very latest from the KUAM News team. Sabrina Salas-Matanani, good morning.
Half a day, everybody. Late Sunday afternoon, several officers with the Guam Police Department responded to a stabbing incident at the Poinciana Apartments in Tamuning. KUAM was on scene where many of the tenants could be seen waiting outside, and a yellow crime tape was visible at the front of the building. According to a media release from GPD, they found a lifeless man. KUAM spoke with a tenant while we were on scene.
We were inside my house, my apartment. I have some family over, and then out of nowhere, we just hear banging on my door. I opened the door to see who it is, and it's the ladies, her and then her mom. And they're all bloody, they're all crying, they're hysterical, they cannot, really speak. They're not from here, so their English is a little bit rocky. And they just told us not to go outside, please don't go outside. And they were saying my brother, the sister, not the mom. And I just come outside to see, what's going on. Didn't see anything going on. Came back in the house. As soon as we heard the police, we told them that the police are here. So we brought them back out. Because it was safe. They didn't want to come out without the police. They're the ones telling us to please call the cops. And then from there, I guess they brought down the suspect from upstairs because we had him over there on that side. The police were bringing him out. They had him on the ground and whatnot. Okay. From there, that's pretty much all I know.
Detectives with GPD's Criminal Investigation Division were activated. They took a suspect into custody. We're still waiting for more information to be released. Meanwhile, on Friday night, a man was rushed to Naval Hospital following a serious crash involving two cars along Route 2 in Agate. According to GFD spokesperson Cherika Chargaloff, the man had to be extricated from the car. The crash occurred just before 9 o'clock Friday night near the Santa Ana Chapel. The Joint Information Center reports 39 people are hospitalized for COVID. 5 patients receiving ICU level of care, 4 on ventilators. There are currently 2 pediatric admissions. Out of the 39 hospitalizations, 16 vaccinated, 22 unvaccinated, 1 ineligible to receive a shot. Since Friday night, Guam recorded 132 new positive cases out of 1,859 tests. Those are the preliminary numbers until test results are provided from private clinics are added in. The final numbers from the weekend will be reported in tonight's Joint Information Center report. To date, there have been a total of 18,639 officially reported cases, 248 deaths, 2,610 people are in isolation, and 15,781 have recovered. As of November 5th, the CARS score has dropped to 9.0. To date, a total of 124,231 of Guam's eligible population is fully vaccinated. As for booster shots or additional doses of the vaccine, the following have been administered: 11,738 doses of Pfizer, 4,920 doses of Moderna, and 139 doses of J&J. Meanwhile, in the CNMI, there have been 13 new COVID cases since Friday. The total case count in the CNMI is now 351. Children between 5 to 11 years old in Saipan began receiving vaccines over the weekend. Rhoda and Tinian Health Centers will begin administering the vaccine for kids today. The Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation says families can register online at vaccinatecnmi.com or in person at the Multipurpose Center Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. A valid government-issued ID or birth certificate must be presented at the time of registration. School-based vaccination is also being planned at some schools in the northern Marianas. Here on Guam, Public Health is expected to start vaccinations for children under 12 this week. KUAM did invite public health officials to come on today's show, but no one was available. We then invited anyone from Public Health to come on anytime this week to share with the people of Guam information about the children vaccines. We have not received a response. As reported, Added Loop's communications office is not allowing anyone to come on live on our program. Over the weekend, Congress passed the president's $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. According to Congressman Michael St. Nicholas, the measure continues the increase in highway funds from $17 million to $45 million. He adds the increase in the transportation grant pools for more buses and some funding to expand broadband access for families, as well as addresses water infrastructure. The infrastructure bill is before the president, who is expected to sign it. Meanwhile, the Build Back Better bill is still being debated. It is likely to be voted on this week. This measure also contains millions for Guam, including $345 million to build a new hospital. The commanding officers of the USS Connecticut have been relieved of their duties, citing a loss of confidence. U.S. 7th Fleet Commander Vice Admiral Carl Thomas relieved Commander Cameron Al-Hilani as commanding officer, Lieutenant Commander Patrick Cashin as executive officer, and Master Chief Sonar Technician Corey Rogers as chief of the boat. The action follows the findings of an investigation that determined the Seawolf-class fast attack submarine ran into an uncharted seamount while operating in international waters in the Indo-Pacific region last month. None of the crew suffered life-threatening injuries. According to a media release, Vice Admiral Thomas determined sound judgment, prudent decision-making, and adherence to required procedures in navigation planning, watch team execution, and risk management could have prevented the incident. Assigned as interim commanding officer was Captain John Witt. Commander Joe Samar assumes duties as interim EO. Command Master Chief Paul Walters assumes duties as interim chief of the boat. USS Connecticut remains in Guam while undergoing damage assessment and will return to Bremerton, Washington for repairs. In more military news, in the Chamber of Commerce weekend newsletter, it reported that Joint Region Marianas confirmed that a big ship visit will take place this week. There will be over 5,000 military personnel on Guam for some R&R, and about 2/3 of the group will be out in town to enjoy our island's culture and people. Meanwhile, Taipei Times also reporting that a platoon of 40 Taiwanese Marines have been sent on a 1-month amphibious landing training program in Guam as part of a Taiwan-U.S. Defense Cooperation and Exchange Program. Taipei Times says the Minister of National Defense, Chu Kyok-cheng, confirmed that information to media over the weekend. The article goes on to report that the program is one of a number of long-standing bilateral exchange projects between Taipei and Washington. With more news now, here's Tyler Matanani.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Well, it's 10:30 a day, everyone. I'm Tyler Matanani with your headlines here on The Link. We have reactions to the Budget Bureau's report on American Rescue Plan expenditures as of the end of October. A pair of senators we spoke with said it falls well short of the spending plan the legislature has been clamoring for months. Nestor Lecanto reports.
The current budget law requires a monthly report on American Rescue Plan spending, and the Budget Bureau sent over a one-page list of expenditures in 8 different categories, totaling a little over $105 million. Senator Joanne Brown.
This does not represent a plan, and a plan that we've been asking for quite some time, to outline specifically how does the governor and the administration really intend to prioritize the spending of these funds. This does not provide that, unfortunately, and I think those are the kind of questions we need to continue to ask.
Speaker Therese Terlahi said she's glad they at least got something from the administration on ARP spending, but what they also need is a lot more detail.
What we really want to know is, going forward, what are the priorities going to be? So I think for the legislature, we've tried different ways, so now we've been successful finally in getting at least an after report of the expenditure. It's not a plan. I don't think you can really govern well without a plan.
It's not clear if the legislature will call an informational hearing to dig deeper into the expenditures. They were hoping the administration would just be more forthcoming with the information.
But I just think it's common sense. If you want to go through the question and answer for 5 days versus just tell the people where you're spending this stuff. Where are you spending the ARP money on? I can't see why that's such a hard thing to do.
But to not publicly, at this point, even come out at this late stage in the game, I really think is disingenuous. And it's really unfortunate that the governor's not forthcoming. We hear all this, we're transparent. Well, we're not obviously transparent with regards to how we're intending to spend this money that wasn't intended for the governor, but was intended for our people.
By the speaker's count, the governor has just over $90 million left to spend. Along with the $105 million just reported, Adelup also announced allocations of $25 million for a local employers assistance program, $20 million for a child care provider assistance program, and $300 million for a new hospital complex. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
The mistake has been corrected. Senators passed a new bill which amends the Local War Claims Program law. It removes an out-of-order amendment by Speaker Therese Terlahi that would have greatly increased the number of claimants and the cost of the program. The amendment was mistakenly included in the bill that was sent to and signed by the governor. Earlier this week, session was stalled as Republicans first wanted a full public explanation of how the costly amendment was included. They were finally able to vote Friday.
Bill 217-36 LS received 10 ayes and 2 nays, with 3 excused. Bill number 217-36 is duly passed by the body.
The 2 senators voting no on the bill were Amanda Shelton and James Moylan. They are sponsoring another war claims bill that will open the program to everyone who suffered during the war and their descendants with no filing deadline. This is similar to the Terlahi amendment that was removed by the bill passed Friday. It was several months ago when Adelup announced that almost $40 million was awarded to local groups and government agencies as part of the governor's Education Assistance and Youth Empowerment Grant Program. KUM News has confirmed no one has received any funds.
The Governor's Education Assistance and Youth Empowerment Program launched in May of this year. It was an opportunity for local groups and organizations to apply and compete for millions in education stabilization funds made available through the U.S. Department of Education. After review by the Guam State Clearinghouse on August 9th, Adelup announced the award of $36.9 million in ESF for 77 projects. The governor then said these projects will provide innovative and creative learning opportunities for thousands of students. According to the governor's office, $1.7 million total was awarded for academic studies, almost $920,000 for sports activities, $13.9 million for development and enhancement of learning resources, $5.6 million for youth programs, $5.7 million for supplemental student learning and engagement activities, $9.1 million for the safe return of students to school. For village mayors who have yet to receive any ARP money, the ESF is something they've been banking on. The money the mayors are being awarded will go towards sports programs and much-needed capital improvement programs. MCOG President and PD Mayor Jesse Allig.
Like I said, we're given our award letter for one of the programs, and we still have yet to receive the money. We can't draw it down. We can't begin because we don't have the money. One of the things that money is going to be used for is, for a lot of us, we need to prepare the sites, right? We need to prepare the facilities, because for some it's just been a long time coming for necessary renovation in order to accommodate residents. Others, it's like the senior centers, it's making sure there's air filters, making sure there's we have some type of sanitization process and maintenance process for the facility while being used. So there's a lot of prep work that needs to get done before we even start.
Guam State Clearinghouse's Stephanie Flores is in charge of managing ESF. She says as part of the process to get the funds to these organizations and government agencies, federal regulations require each entity to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the governor's office, who is the original recipient of the funds. Flores adds that the process of getting an MOU fully reviewed and executed can be a little lengthy, especially in light of the volume of MOUs that need to be reviewed not only by the parties, but also a number of government agencies and the AG's office. The funds cannot be released until the MOUs are fully executed, which means the implementation of the 77 projects are in a holding pattern.
But none of that can actually begin or commence because there's no money to do it.
Flores anticipates being able to release funding from ESF in the very near future. And to help, Adelup hired at least 7 people, a program manager, 4 program coordinators, a buyer 1, and an office aide with the ESF money.
Despite a local military statement saying there aren't any plans to bring them here, a task force Pineapple representative on island says the plan to bring thousands of Afghan commandos and their families to Guam is still in play. Glenn Pangilinan responding to a Joint Region Mariana statement saying there are no plans at this time to use Guam as a staging area for the relocation of Afghans.
Since August, Guam was identified as a potential when it was mentioned by the governor. I think what the Pentagon found when they came out here was just an impossible situation to make it happen. But that impossible situation has now become even more impossible, which ended making it possible because there's no other place to go.
Pangilinan said he met with Governor Lou Leon Guerrero yesterday, and he reported that the governor is all in on the Afghans coming to Guam.
The governor's biggest point was Guam has always figured it out. We've had people come through. We've been successful at doing it. It's part of our history. And she said that as soon as she's informed that this is a reality, she'll take the proper measures to make it happen.
Pangilinan is flying out to Washington, D.C. this weekend and said he anticipates a final decision on the plan to transition commandos and their families through the island before the end of the year. That's it for now. We'll see you tonight for KUAM News Primetime.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
And KUAM has an update to that story we brought you at the top of our newscast regarding a stabbing incident that occurred at the Ponciana Apartments in Tamuning late Sunday afternoon. KUAM has learned that an Akmal Koziev has been arrested. He was arrested for aggravated murder, aggravated assault as a second-degree felony, use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony, strangulation, felonious restraint, assault, as well as 2 counts of family violence. Again, Akmal Koziev has been arrested. We're waiting for more information from the Guam Police Department. Once we get more, we will, of course, pass it along. In other news, Senator Tello Taitagui has introduced a bill that increases access to GovGuam's employment and hiring practices to the public and policymakers. The budget law provides that staffing patterns are uploaded on an agency's website and a copy given to the legislature. According to a media release, Bill 221 strengthens a level of accountability for government agencies to present an accurate snapshot of agency hiring practices, attrition, and migration of employees. Current quarterly reports are 2-dimensional. Bill 221 provides a 3-dimensional perspective that allows for the agency's existing workforce levels to review critically all terminations, promotions, and demotions, temporary details, transfers, reclassifications, internal agency movement, and position migration to agencies are captured within those reports. Reports required under the bill are due within 10 days after each quarter for a staffing report and monthly for personnel information reports. Classified, unclassified, temporary hires, and federal positions must all be reported under Bill 221. This information is not all quarterly reported and is not an accurate representation of taxpayers' resources. The bill's introduction follows KUAM's report about how Department of Revenue and Taxation Director Daphne Shimizu hired an unclassified individual to be a call center supervisor, and within 1 month, she authorized Julie St. Nicholas Cruz to jump 6 pay grades and receive an $11,000 raise. According to Staffing Patterns, the call center supervisor's salary was more than several other supervisors in the various divisions at Rev and Tax. With your news in Chamorro, here's Kin Conception.
Buenos updates to get some to be finut sa morgan ni KUAM News. Presenta ni Familian Mito gi First Hawaiian Bank. Anak si Anthony Luis Parteco Camacho gimenan West Magistrate Jonathan Kwan gi ibetnes. Masusteta ni para 15,000 pesos na cash bail. Dana di probisyon ni Tisinio Mali para contact ortusia na persona ni mapasalista ni ikorti. Ito na preliminary na hearing sa dia 12 de Nobyembre, gilas 4 gipapuengi. Gimapos na semana na malago gisagang karantina gi Department of Corrections sa Kamatsu. Ana meditete ni por positibo test niya para COVID-19. Istabay guhi gi DOC sa Kamatsu sa pura contra DC is on a parole. The pago matatsaki pod manyaking kareta, minatres grado na robbery, ana suwa identifika ni kareta, malago gi preso no felony, mansustete ni na schedule 2 na binenu, dani manyak titalo. Tibaripara na malago si Kamatsu gi preso hasta ki 12 oras gi después. May bisita ka ni Internal Affairs Office na Taigui ni ST. Mas asunto, masodado ni jury na umisaw si Christopher De Leon Guerrero por 2 kwenta na attempted enticement of a minor. Gidespués sa investigasyon ni Air Force Special Investigation sa ni FBI, maaresta si De Leon Guerrero gi Anderson Air Force Base, ginobrembe na mes gimapos na sakan. Ikausa sa inanbarga uno na undercover na ahendi no kado 13 anos gui na idat Palawan ni mafanan na an M gi internet. Kumontrata idos para alig yung guma gi sa Anderson. Lo ni matugato si De Leon Guerrero guihi maaresta no ahendi ni Federal siya. Yalam karitanya masoda siya ng kano dyan kandom. Ilingya si De Leon Guerrero na sa rento gi Guam National Guard. Maschedule para masentensya gi 10 gi Febrero gi 2022 na sakan. Yuto mo na sunto para pago na Lunes gi Finot Samoro gi KUAM News. Guam Department of Education sa ma-report gi betnes na uno na estudyante gi ni Mariso Marders Memorial Elementary na eskwela sa positibo test niya para COVID-19. Tal sa empleyado gi ma-report na ninadyo ni COVID. Gima si Archdiocese Aganya ma-report 5 na kausang COVID-19 entre estudyante siya dyan uno na empleyado gi eskwelang Katoliko siya. Estudyante siya sa manmates na positibo iti dia 29 gi Oktubre hasta dia 5 gi Nobyembre. Ikaw sa estudyante siya ni maninadyo sa ma-identifika na 2 gi Bishop Baumgartner Memorial Catholic School, 1 gi St. Anthony Catholic School, 1 gi Father Duenas Memorial School, dan 1 gi Notre Dame High School. Yun ang empleyado ni positibo itest niya sa gini Notre Dame High School. Para Guam News Network, Balsikin Conception. Yasuto gi Finot Samoro sa presenta sa ninafatto ni Familian Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, where you get smart insights into your finances so you can make smart decisions with your money. With a daily personalized feed, you can compare your monthly income to spending. That's better. Discover where your money is actually going. You might be surprised. See what's essential and what isn't. The more you use the app, the smarter it gets. With insights from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
All right, and we had absolutely gorgeous weather all week and over the weekend. Really, really good time to get out, do some yard work, go out and exercise, have some fun on the island. But landing this morning right around 4 o'clock, it seems the sky kind of opened up. I'm going to quote what we used to say in the 90s. What's up with that?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what's up with this. I just smashed my stapler and there's staples everywhere.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just one of those mornings. Yeah, this is one of those mornings, and I'm going to flip my camera around real quick, show you what we're looking at on the radar. Yeah, these showers will come and go. They'll dump you. They'll get a heavy shower, soak everything, and move right on offshore. This has been the scene since really yesterday evening. It's not so much broad weather disturbance. It's just a mix of widely scattered trade wind showers. And so these cores, when they pass overhead, they can dump upwards of about 1/4 of an inch of rain in about 15 or 20, 30 minutes, and then move right on offshore. And then you have sunny skies again. And so we're going to be seeing this at least through the morning hours, and then gradually drying up today. Otherwise, this is pretty much a fair weather pattern. And I'm going to flip you up to the satellite. Just showing those showers. This is just low-level moisture. It's not reaching very high in the atmosphere. You can tell by the absence of those reds and blue colors from the infrared satellite. The deeper stuff is farther to our south, where you have the thunderstorms across Micronesia. This is just low-level moisture that dump a brief heavy downpour and move right on off. So when you see this and you're driving, just slow your speeds just a little bit, because it can be some ponding of water on the roads, especially on the outer lanes. Otherwise, much drier condition to our east. So it's going to be a great weather pattern for the week ahead. Dry season will have it'll feel like dry season at least for the next 4 or 5 days, but we could see a little trade wind disturbance coming on Friday with some showers, and then a more formidable disturbance toward the weekend that we'll be watching for early next week. So Jason, go ahead and cue up the slides, and we'll take a look for the week ahead. Drier weather again to start out the week is our main headline, with the risk of rip currents moderate along north and east-facing reefs. The fire danger is low. We've been a little bit drier this month following the record-breaking wet month of October for Guam, but that's pretty much normal. For Micronesia, severe drought continues at Kapinga Maringi. That's going to be ongoing for quite a while as we go into the dry season through December and then into January. The next slide showing the current conditions, 80 degrees and climbing across Guam and Saipan. The winds are light out of the east. They'll be bumping up to around 10 to 15 miles per hour. And as we go through the week, those trade winds will be kicking up just a little bit, with the lower pressure to the south in the tropics and a ridge building to our north in the North Pacific.
Yeah, it was not at all windy this weekend, Landon. Kind of hot, but kind of a dry heat.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I was out at the beach yesterday, and it's a scorcher. If you're out there between roughly 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you will get scorched out there with these sunny skies. But it's beautiful weather. So if you have outside chores to do, if you have to put up your Christmas decorations, this would be a great week to do it. Just wear your sunscreen, or do it later in the afternoon where it's not quite as sunny out there. I know my neighbors, they're putting up a lot of decorations and lights. Shots fired. So we're going to have to address
and not
that
to be outdone, you've already got your Easter
weeks.
stuff up, I'm sure.
I'll be starting next week. But yeah, shots fired in the Dedado neighborhood where I live. The neighbors, I'm going to have to show them who's boss. And one of these days when I get a chance, I will be putting up lights and show them who's king of Christmas. We'll see. Anyway, Guam rainfall. Just a nickel of an inch of rain yesterday, 0.05 for parts of the islands. We had 0.04 here at the office. We're down just a little bit for the month total, but we're still holding steady with the yearly rainfall just below average by about 1/3 of an inch. Not that bad. The drought situation, of course, not much change since last week, with abnormally dry conditions starting to filter into the southernmost islands across Micronesia, and that's indicative of the coming La Nina and also the oncoming dry season. Kapinga Maringi, that is the hotspot with severe drought conditions materializing there, and that's going to continue again for probably the long term, the next several months. The next slide showing the full picture of the JTWC. Not much going on. I was looking through some of the tropical weather that we had in the last month. We only had 3 typhoons in the Western Pacific last month, which is pretty slow.
You won't hear me complain.
Yeah, that's good news for a lot of people. And so, that doesn't mean just let your guard down. We're still in early November. We still have a good month and a half. Pangsona that was occurred on Guam in December. So keep that in mind. Some of our bigger storms took place later in November and also December. So don't let your guard down. But accept the good news. This is great news right now as we start the battle between wet season and dry season. And the dry season will eventually make its approach to the region. So the next slide showing the winds over the seas. Those moderate trade winds extend all the way from the Mariana Islands eastward to the Marshall Islands. And you start seeing those greens and yellows near the dateline. Those are the much stronger trade winds. They'll be making their way westward towards our area by the end of the week. We'll be seeing winds gradually increase. And likewise, on the next slide, the seas and surf will also build along the east side. So right now we're looking at combined seas of 3 to 5 feet out of the open waters. Those sea conditions will be building as we go toward the end of the week with the winds gradually increasing. And finally, the last slide, mostly sunny conditions today, isolated showers, a good mix of sunlight with periods of little light showers that'll soak things and then move right on off. The seas will be building as we go through midweek with partly cloudy, isolated showers continuing through midweek. But then we can see that slight trade wind disturbance come through on Friday, dropping a few showers. And then again, Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, we could be watching for a wetter period with that tropical disturbance moving through. We'll be watching that, see what evolves with that. But right now, enjoy the week. This is a great time to be outside and do some yard work.
Absolutely. I did some of that this weekend too.
Yeah, I need to get back to my yard. The store grass is still doing laps around me.
Okay, so when you said shots fired to your neighbors over in Dededo for who's got the best Christmas display, I don't know if you saw it earlier, but we had the mayors on, and one of them was your mayor, Melissa Savaras from Dededo, and she's saying that there's actually a big challenge to see which village mayor's offices can put the best display. So we're going to come out and we're going to shoot your place too, because I know you always go, to say that your family goes all out with Christmas displays is a massive understatement. You guys are like next level Banoonies when it comes to like Christmas display.
Yeah, I got a little start in my office. I got a long ways to go.
Nice.
But once I get some time, I can deal with the situation in my house. We'll have a lot of stuff. We'll have lights. I'll have my brother and some friends over, and we'll start stringing stuff up. But it might be, usually I like to get started in September, but this year's probably going to be Thanksgiving week. We'll see.
Hey, the holidays are the holidays, man. It's all good.
That's exactly it.
All right.
Time for friends and family.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
Good weather. We appreciate it. See you next week.
All right, we're going to take a break and hop aboard. Bring your passport. We're going to the CNMI next, right here on the link. Good morning. It's 8:37.
Uno Mixed. We're mixing it up on the last Thursday of every month with a look at lifestyle, entertainment, food, and so much more on the stations, networks, and digital platforms of KUAM Communications. Uno Mixed is presented to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Pepsi.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line.
Let's get merry during the most wonderful time of the year by making spirits bright. KUAM Communications and Coast 360 want to highlight your decorations and lights by flooding the social media pages of KUAM with your videos and photos. Finish your holiday setup, snap a few shots or video of your delightful display, and send it to us through social media or email them to promotions@kuam.com. Check out our posts every Friday or tune in to KUAM News Weekend Edition for a special montage of the submissions certain to be making spirits bright with every broadcast. Warmest holiday wishes from KUAM Communications and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
Learn about people and organizations making a difference in our community on the greater good every Wednesday during the link. Building awareness, promoting events, generating change. Find inspiration to seek out the greater good every Wednesday. Listen, watch, stream. Miss the link? Miss a lot. Presented by Jay Goodman, a happiness company, and Guam Windward Memorial. Celebrate life.
This year, Giving Tuesday falls on November 30th.
And though our community is still facing some of the most challenging of times, there's no better time
to volunteer, donate, spread awareness, and do whatever you can to help those in need.
Let's continue to build a wave of generosity
that creates a ripple effect for all in our community.
Throughout the month of November, Team KUAM Care Force will be showcasing some of our favorite charities.
To inform, inspire, and introduce you to the wonderful things these groups are doing for our community.
We're also calling on you to donate to our food pantry and toy drive to benefit the Salvation Army at our KUAM studios.
Any weekday between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. starting on November 1st.
Or stop by our second annual donation drive-thru event on November 30th.
You can also visit our studios to sign our Kindness for Caregivers wall to show our healthcare workers our appreciation.
So be a giver and join the KUAM Care Force this year in making a difference this Giving Tuesday.
Giving Tuesday 2021 is presented in partnership with our community partner, APL. Better Ways. This holiday season, we're once again bringing together the island's largest array of local vendors for a special innovative way for you to shop, broadcast, and go digital with Team KUAM. Join us on Sunday, November 28th for the annual Christmas Pops Virtual Holiday Market at 12 noon on KUAM TV8 and the KUAM News Facebook page, plus additional show times through December 11th. We'll also be featuring vendors daily with posts with QR codes and links on our social media pages beginning Monday, November 29th, and hosting an exclusive Christmas Pops website for your one-stop shopping. It's a safe and convenient way for you to shop local this holiday season. To reserve your spot, email promotions@kuam.com today. Virtual space is limited.
Presented by UOG School of Business and Public Administration.
So I picked up my boat around 3, trying not to think about you and other things like school and the
And now,
that's due. Baby, is it cool?
Thanks for joining us. We're back here on the link. Thanks for joining us. Good morning, Chris,
Right
Jason,
on.
Joser. How are you all doing?
All right, just here with my favorite Luta face.
Right, yeah. It's someone at the Guam Memorial Hospital called me a rota face, which is, a compliment. It's
That
a
is
compliment.
I wish I had a rota face.
You do, Chris, some days.
Some days. Okay, right on. It must be my NMI roots for my grandpa. Okay, it's 8:42. Tomas Maglotnia, you guys, he's doing a great job here with KUAM News. Kind of really cut his teeth reporting on the pandemic from the CNMI during the first wave. Remember that?
Yeah, and someone
Seems
else
like
who remembers it really well
I'm
joins
sure.
us right
Yes,
now.
of course.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation, Esther Munoz, joins us live now from Saipan. Good morning, Esther. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Half a day, Tiro.
And so I guess we can just start with some of the good news that we shared on our Instagram, which is that vaccinations for kids 5 to 11 rolled out. We're sharing some of the images that Gail took for us over the weekend of some of the first kids. How's that going? I know we received 2,700 doses. What's your comment on that?
Well, we were actually very excited to start it, and we felt no reason to delay it. As soon as we got it, we just rolled it out to the multipurpose building, and we were actually very pleased to see a lot of people, bring their kids with them. There was about more than 100 people or 100 kids that showed up for vaccination. So that was I was pleased to see that. So and especially with our cases here, the recent cases here in the CNMI, right? There's quite a number of individual, kids that of course are ineligible to get vaccinated. Bringing it to the household, and we found a lot of our clusters really affected by the COVID because of the a lot of individuals that were unvaccinated.
And just wanted to share the most recent cases last night. One reported case. There are a total of 351 cases since the pandemic began in March, and 60 active cases. And you were sharing that most of them are experiencing mild symptoms, right, of the 60 cases?
Correct, yes. Mild symptoms, no hospitalization. Contact tracing actually found another 3. So we are, our active cases are now 63 from the community, and there was 4 from the travel testing.
And one of the things, CEO Munya, that you mentioned Friday's press briefing that got a lot of attention was the news of the possible index case being an essential worker. And one thing that you said that was really striking was, we remind essential workers, you said, that if they're going to come to do essential work, they show love for this community. Where are you at now with that investigation?
So again, we have found a connection with our clusters. What we are looking at is, obviously, we never said that we were going to be perfect. We never said that we're going to get 0 cases in the community. The moment you open your borders, basically, there's going to be a risk. And we've been talking to the frontliners about what they need to do to protect their family, protect this community. And unfortunately, we have essential workers, and this, when you have an essential worker, especially consistently requesting and really doing essential work, as I mentioned earlier, it is there's certain things that need to be done for safety, for health, and we have to balance that out. So what we are looking at for the next step really is basically strengthen our testing strategies, and also working with the contact tracing. The contact tracing is excellent. They do excellent work. And with the lab and our nurses here, really working really hard to try to get our testing strategies strengthened. And we will continue to do that. And with the essential workers, I mean, there's just no way we're going to say no to essential workers, but we're just asking them that, they come and do the work and work with us. And especially, when there's a case that we need to make sure that we try to contain it as quickly as possible.
Ms. Esther, Chris, I wanted to jump in with a question about this index case. Are you able to confirm, because we've heard from multiple sources that the index case was an essential worker who originated from Guam. Are you able to confirm that?
Yes, I can confirm that.
I'm sorry. I apologize for our people over here. I do, ma'am, because it just seems like every time there's an outbreak of the NMI, it's coming from someone who's coming from Guam. So I want to go back to what you said about having, what was it, love for the community? Or?
Yeah, Esther, and I thought that really struck me in the press conference where you said, please show your love. I mean, oftentimes, I guess, in a public health conference, you don't hear love being spoken about, right? But
unless it's STDs or something.
But I think it was so right for the moment, because if you were in the CNMI, right, the community transmission cases until then weren't detected until 200 days, right, or haven't been detected in over 200 days, and that just really hit home for me, for that message you gave.
Yeah, I mean, we're grateful that it's not widespread transmission right now. We can confirm that. Again, these are cluster cases. The the contact tracers are really good at what they do. We always say that we always need an army of contact tracers to battle this. And one of the things that we did back in 2020 and even now, our vaccination rates, just like Guam, is really high. I believe we can, especially with the mild cases that we're seeing, that is evidence, right, that vaccinated individuals can have these. They definitely can contract it. They can transmit it, but we do have our mild cases. There's 0 hospitalization so far. We have the treatment for monoclonal antibodies. We did give for those in isolation right now, and they're recovering really well. So it's working. The system that we have now. We have to move from where we're at. We were, looking at our testing strategies, contact tracing, vaccination, and we're so glad that the vaccines for children was approved quickly. It's almost like a perfect time, right, for it, and we just rolled it out. And this is what we need to do to save lives. And I believe that moving forward, we can. People here are still having functions, so that's something that's there's fear, but there's also people, I think, that understand the need that eventually it'll come to the CNMI, and we just need to protect our community. So we're at that stage, I believe.
Miss Esther, I wanted to ask just a bunch of questions, really, but I want to start with this kid vaccination effort. Are we like in the same group chat here? Because you guys rolled it out over the weekend, and then we had a public health conference with Guam Public Health here last week, and it sounded like they were still drawing up the plans to roll out the kids' vaccine effort. So how are you guys able to get the kid vaccine so early? And how were you able to successfully plan for this rollout? Because it really seems like you guys are able to just turn on a dime. I mean, you did. I'm very just surprised and kind of floored, really, just to compare and contrast what's going on with you guys versus what's going on with us. And you're right. I heard you say 2 words that we don't really hear a lot from the response in the pandemic here on Guam, which those 2 words were save lives. So crucial. This kid vaccination effort. We're seeing high numbers of positive kid cases on Guam, right? We've had the MIS see. So I got to ask, what's your secret?
There's no secret sauce. But you did mention about how did we roll it out? That was your question, yeah. Right? For us, I guess I'm not only the CEO for the hospital, I'm actually also the health official for the CNMI. Which is really my, I work with Art San Augustine very closely, working with Lilian Posadas also, of course. So I basically wear their hats here in the CNMI. So it's, to roll it out, we may not have, we have staff from the hospital that wanted to participate, and we just put it all together and say, we have it. We already have a vaccination site already operating. We just needed to make sure, of course, that we do it in a safe manner, protecting children, protecting everyone that gets the vaccine. And so we, put the team together from the hospital and the public health services, and just put it all together. And, Esther Muña, CEO, says, let's do it, we'll do it. So, yeah. And the people here, honestly, the staff have been really working, really trying very hard because, again, one of the things that we were doing from the beginning was that, I'm also a hospital, like I said, hospital administrator, and trying to make sure that I protect my staff. I mean, that's the key thing to do in any disaster, any emergency. We have to protect our staff. So this is a collaborative effort from all over the health system that participates in trying to get it out. But, it's just that we could do it. We felt that we could do it, and we just do it.
Right. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you is because you talked about how we kind of share a similar vaccination rate, right? But that's about all we have in common, because after that, it really becomes a tale of two, of several different islands, in that we have the high vaccination rate. But I'm sure you're aware we're just now starting to crawl out of this 16, 17-week surge. Do you guys over there in the NMI at any time kind of look over at Guam and I know I don't want to make it awkward for you, but I do want an honest answer. Do you ever kind of look over here and say, like, hey, what what are you guys doing? Or hey, why don't they try this? Or hey, why don't they do that? Because our response to this surge was very hands off. I mean, there were pretty much no restrictions of any consequence that were put in place. I mean, when you do look at the mandate that targeted the unvaccinated, it didn't really do anything to stem the positive cases. That did boost our vaccination rate. So is there at any point there, Miss Esther, where you kind of look over and just be like, man, God, I wish I could help or offer advice or anything? Because Lord knows we've been in over our heads with this COVID.
Well, you know, the CNMI does have Public Law 1363. Public Law, sorry about that. You turned it out. Public Law 1363, which really gives us, myself as a Secretary of Health, the authority to look at this situation and working with the governor and his task force to implement, practices, mandates that are necessary to protect this community. We also have to look at how fragile our health system is. You know, I mean, we have only one hospital, Chris, you know, unlike Guam. We have only one hospital, and we need to protect our hospital also as well. People, you know, for a long time, our people were delaying care, you know, not even to the point where they don't want to go to Guam for a referral. And that was something that was really bothering me, you know, I mean, keeping me up at night, because at the end of the day, I have to also look at other health issues here. And that's the important thing. And not this past briefing, but the briefing before with the press, I did mention that we need to look at all these, you know, we need to go back to really addressing, you know, diabetes, you know, talking about comorbidities. We need to look at that, and we need to do everything possible to get back to business. I've always said that we have a hospital to run, we have a healthcare system to run. So yeah, I mean, we look at the surge in Guam and we put our guards up, you know, to try to protect this community. But at the same time, it's also trying to run a health system and trying to get back to business, because the people here really, really need it.
Thank you.
And Esther, I just wanted to also just follow up on the essential worker case. Are you able to share the status of that investigation? I'm sure after that news came out on Friday at the press briefing, lots of people were wondering about accountability for this individual who might have been the cause. What's your message to those who are wondering about accountability there?
Well, again, I think that's probably the legal team that's going to have to deal with that. But for us, we are going to ramp up our testing strategy, get it, you know, to the point where, and I have to talk again with the legal team as well. If people here, essential workers are arriving, let's say less than 5 days, because usually we test them 5 days, right? If they're arriving and leaving earlier, you know, we need to find a way to ensure that we at least get the list of their contacts, and try even to the point, possibly even, you know, finding out, you know, individuals. And we're working with the system developers as well, to try to find a way to control this, that even when they leave, because they're going to leave, and they're not going to stay for 5 days, and we're probably not going to know that they have the virus. So what we're going to try to do is to at least find a way to test or do contact tracing right after.
And so the protocol for essential workers is, can you just clarify that for us? What is the protocol for an essential worker?
So they are supposed to submit a negative test prior to arrival. They have to apply online. They have to have a support letter from the employer or the business establishment that is supporting this essential worker to come and do work. And they are tested on arrival on a rapid test so that they can get back to doing their work. And but you know, as we all know, sometimes we find these day 5 results of positive even after all that. And so that's what our worry is, of course, is that when they're not here for 5 days, we don't know. And so, you know, it's just unfortunate, but that's the protocol. And then they're out there, they're supposed to have restricted movement. You know, they're supposed to just go to work, go home or go to their lodging. what we found out from this essential worker was that they were actually thinking of attending a party. And so we did, bring them back to Kanoa, and basically said that, you're done. you got to go back. But, and decided to leave right away. So, again, I cannot, the only thing I can say is that I cannot confirm, of course, because we still need to know if that was the individual, but we can confirm that the contacts were somehow connected with this individual.
Wow. Just seeing the cases now. I mean, I think one thing that I chat with you and about too is how when we get these reports of cases, it's a bit scary because we haven't gotten these reports previously, but also it's the contact tracing is working, right? That's what also the reports say. Would you agree?
Yes. Contact tracing, the vaccination, it's working. That's the key. And so, we need to take this in a positive way and say, hey, this is what's showing. I mean, I have to say that, we cannot ignore the data that we're receiving now. We probably wouldn't have this data if we didn't have these cases, but we're looking at the data and it's making our decision easier on what's next. So.
And speaking of what's next, lots of folks asking about how quarantine might change in the coming weeks. I know that's something you've spoken about, that a change is coming. Can you share anything on quarantine protocols for incoming travelers? We have to look at what CDC guidelines actually provide. And, there's the new Biden or the White House basically changing the protocols as well for international travelers, getting tested and getting vaccinated. And so we are going to look at that and we are going to make the adjustments here. With our excellent testing, with our excellent contact tracing, I believe we can make some changes for the best. And again, it's about saving lives. So, yes. And Esther, I'm sure you're seeing this circulate all over social media now. The public notice of proposed amendments to CHCC school and childcare facilities. Apparently, there might be some vaccination mandates on the horizon for children or for school students. Can you clarify and shed light? Because the way that this is being shared is, I think, like it was a secret, maybe, but there's a public notice out, and you're soliciting comments for 30 days. So can we get clear the record on that and what these plans are?
Sure. So our board of trustees did approve the adding the COVID vaccines into the current law. The current law does require that students, if they're going to be attending school, they have to have a health certificate, and that requires that they get the vaccines that are, from measles, mumps, rubella, everything. We just added the COVID-19 vaccines into that. There's, we're receiving comments already. We were receiving comments over the weekend, and a lot are very favorable of it. Especially with the new vaccines that are being administered over the weekend. So there's no secret to it. I mean, it is something that's already mandated for all vaccines or other vaccines, and so adding this is really just an extra protection.
I'm sure you've seen or I don't know if you've seen it, but there's been some backlash, right, when it comes to mandating a vaccine that some might be even more hesitant to for children. And just taking a look this morning at some of the posts that were shared with the public notice out, there were a few parents who are completely against this and want a choice. What's your message to them?
Well, these are safe. The vaccines are safe. They were not rushed. They were all tested, and there's data. Obviously, even FDA has given a unanimous approval. Let me just go back to that. FDA unanimously approved before the panel approved the vaccine for children. So did the ACIP committee, the Advisory Council for Immunization Practices. They also unanimously approved these vaccines. So I have no reason to doubt that it is not safe. And, where we have children that are a lot of, here I'm sure it's even the same with Guam. CNMI, there's multi-generation in a household. And when you have kids that are unvaccinated going to school and, an elder that is probably immunocompromised and cannot get vaccinated, this is a Chamorro traditional way of protecting your loved ones. So yeah, it is your choice, but you have to understand that it's also some people don't have a choice, and it's unfair to them. And I feel like we need to be able to protect others. That's what we're all about. I thought either you are going to help others, or at least not try to harm them, right? That's our always goal in life.
And just wanted to touch on one last thing before we let you go. Schools are set, the CNMI public school system set a target date for November 15 to reopen their campuses. I believe the Northern Marianas College, the NMTI, and also the private Coalition of Private Schools might have earlier opening dates than that. What's your latest update on school reopenings, and have things shifted in terms of approach or protocol, given that the most recent community transmissions were identified on campuses?
Uh-oh. Sorry, Thomas, can you repeat that?
Schools are set to reopen in the next week. Some schools are already reopening this week, I believe, private and public. What is the latest on protocols for that, given that the community transmission that we're seeing now was identified first at schools?
So we met with the PSS, officials, and we did tell them that there is guidelines already by CDC about what to do when a child has been confirmed as positive. There's steps for that. The private schools are back. They have mitigation efforts already in place. They're already, there's practices already to address situations like this. And so we, going back to the vaccinations, we need the schools to open for us to be able to roll out to the school-based clinics. We need to do that. So, this is not just, the left hand doing something. You have to do something else on the right hand and really try to work together, because this is, we want the schools to open. There's definitely preventive measures that can be implemented, and they can do it. So I'm hoping that they get back to schools as well.
And just a quick follow-up on the MAB treatment, the monoclonal antibody treatment. You said so far you've only given you've only treated 4 patients with that. And how many?
From this cluster only.
Sorry, what was that?
From this cluster only.
Okay, so how many do we have in stock, and are we prepared to? What is the capacity for that treatment, and what is the what are the guidelines for someone to administer that? Because here, as we've reported here, there are strict guidelines for to receive the MAB treatment on Guam.
It's the same. It's the same. Our medical doctors. By the way, I'm not a medical doctor, but so the medical doctors had a nice. They did a webinar just specifically for the CNMI providers. We have that on the isolation site, so we can implement it right. Use it right away. That's what our doctors have been using. There's I saw the guidelines that Guam had issued. We are urging anyone with symptoms, even mild symptoms, to come to the ER. ER is our point of care for basically COVID detection as well as treatment. So it is, we want people to go and go to the hospital, our hospital, and get detected. And then if they have the symptoms, we will treat them right away. Even if they're in the isolation site, because they are in quarantine when someone is confirmed positive. They are in isolation, and the doctors are there to be able to provide the treatment. So there's no need to guess, whether or not you need it or not, or whether you need to go and seek treatment. Once you're already detected as positive, you are basically have the availability of a provider that can support you for that.
Esther, how do you guys? Because here on Guam we test about on good days about 1,000 people, and during the height of the surge, we were seeing anywhere on average from like 125 to even up to like 200 some cases. So how do you guys kind of make sure that when you identify those positives, you're able to really reach out and say, hey, do you want to get this MAB treatment? Because there does seem to be kind of a gap in our system.
So once a person is positive, we isolate them here at the Kanoa facility. There's, I understand some jurisdictions, and I'm not sure Guam does the same thing, is that even an individual that's confirmed positive, they're told to quarantine at home. We have to isolate them at the quarantine site. So that is, I believe that's the difference, is that the providers are there. So there's no need to second guess, to try to guess if you need it or not. The provider will discuss that with you, and they will offer the treatment.
Thank you.
All right, Esther, thank you so much. I know you. It's a busy time, more than ever, and thank you, and to all the frontliners. We can't say it enough for all that you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Thomas. Roll a face.
Let's see that Luta face. Yeah,
oh gosh. Okay.
Thank you, Miss Esther.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Take care. Bye bye.
I think we can see Tomasa blushing behind the mask.
Yeah. Well, that was a great interview. We did have some comments here. Kid vaccines will start on Guam November 20th. Yes. Rosemary comments, our governor of Guam, stated there are a lot of administrative steps to be taken before the 5 to 11-year-old vaccinations begin. She comments further, Miss Esther said it all. One hospital placed life as a priority to ensure all protocols remain in place. The majority of recent deaths could and should have been avoided. I thought that was interesting, her answer, basically, when I said, hey, when you look at Guam and kind of compare it to what has happened there, do you ever kind of scratch your head? And she didn't really answer the question, but what she did say is the way that their law is written, it really kind of centralizes a lot of the decision-making authority with her position, right?
With the public health official.
Which is how it should be. Whereas on Guam, it's like they got to run everything by the governor, and then they got to do a little video, and then they got to make sure that the messaging is on, what messaging there is. So that's definitely a huge difference. It seems like Esther is able to move freely to respond to this pandemic.
Well, and also quite literally too, because their team were on the ground knocking door to door in a safe way, talking to people outside of Facebook and Instagram
about vaccinations,
about precautions. They were on the ground having real conversations.
Yeah, meanwhile, on our island, the governor asserted herself as the public health authority. Which, I guess is all fine and good, but the results not what we saw in the CNMI, and that's so crucial. I remember when the vaccine effort begun, they did go around and knock on doors and talk to people, not just to let them know, hey, come get the jab, but to also let them know and to address their vaccine hesitancy.
That was that strike team, right?
Right.
What was it? Rapid response team, strike team, something like.
What was it called, Tomas?
On Saipan, or
yeah. In Saipan, we did have the rapid engagement team that went down
on here,
at the different with the different mayor's offices.
Yeah, and that conversation continues. This mandate that they're going to have for school children is obviously something that people have a lot of things to say, and she addressed it head on, saying that this is something that she
said it's the Chamorro way. Mm-hmm. You basically you got to do what you got to do to protect the Manomko in the family, which that sounds pretty Chamorro to me.
Yeah, and one thing I know at the previous press conference, she was saying that the children's lives are just so disrupted, and so this comes at a time where people just want to get back to some normal.
We mentioned this last week, Chris, but here's an angle that has not been exploited yet in local marketing of getting tested, staying home, ultimately getting your booster, getting your shot and everything. Chamorro guilt trip. I actually think that would be quite effective. I mean,
give me an example.
No,
Jay.
it's like we can say it now and we can laugh at it. Oh, that's funny, haha.
Wow,
But remember way back before, we're like, oh, what if you did something like you gave people money to get the shot? That actually came to pass. What if you did something where you scared the bejesus out of people about they did that? What if you...
What if you told people they can't eat out or
Exactly.
work out? Oh, wait, they did that too.
That lasted for about 4
yeah,
days,
yeah,
and then everybody complained everything into oblivion.
It's still in place, Jay.
Yeah.
Well, and she was mentioning too, right? Esther Muñoz was just saying that they're also looking back at a lot of the other health issues that exist that make you more prone, to more severe illness as well. And so it's a holistic approach, right? There isn't just one solution to any of this.
Right.
Tomas, do you get the sense from your own interactivity or interaction with the community up there throughout the Marianas, right, that the messaging has penetrated more of the community than it has here? Because I know, and by no fault of anybody's, they just said, like Chris was saying, they had to make that strike team because they said with certain Micronesian communities here.
Well, it was more economics, Jay. It's so
socioeconomic.
basically what the mayor's council, and this lasted like all of 2 minutes, where the mayor's council, because this is when we're getting all these DOAs, and it was don't wait until it's too late, and so they had enlisted the mayors to go and kind of call everyone and encourage them to get tested. Yeah, but again, that don't wait until it's too late messaging kind of fell by the wayside when you have Adelup coming out with a video every 5 minutes. It's hard to sustain an important message. So, it's like, don't wait until it's too late. And then it's like, oh, they're, dealing with abandoned vehicle vessels. So it's like when you come out with a message, it has to go out and it has to be consistent. And that's something that we definitely have failed at. And you can't argue with it because look at our numbers during the surge.
So when the community cases broke out, I was calling different offices, different people I knew that were impacted by, or potentially exposed. And I was really, are you okay? Or, what's going on? And this person goes, Tomas, we just care about each other. We understand what we need to do. So we'll do what we need to do for 2 weeks, and we'll see what happens from there. But we know how to take care of each other.
Now,
so this person was telling me to kind of calm down and
relax there, Tom. Relax, fan.
I was just calling, being like, oh my gosh, are you shutting down things like that? They said yes. We're shutting down. We're taking some precautions, but we also know what we need to do, and we know how we need to show up for each other.
And Saipan, population-wise, is the largest of the islands in Yemen, and their population is like what, 10,000, give or take?
50,000.
50?
Yes.
Okay,
for the last census update at least.
Yeah. But with that 50,000, it is also. I'm sorry, no, it's 10 miles long, 50,000. You're right. It is a very diverse population as far as different ethnic groups, different age ranges, and everything like that. So messaging is a challenge.
Not
really.
So far they have 84% vaccinated, and I know that the public health officials would like to see that be way higher than that.
But you can't really just argue the baseline. What's going on in the NMI is outside of the surge, which was caused by someone from Guam. Oh my God.
They're still doing an investigation.
Esther was just being nice, but it was caused by someone from Guam. How embarrassing is that? You wonder why a lot of them don't like us. That's exactly why.
You know what I would have really liked.
But what I was gonna say was, I just forgot. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was gonna say, you know what I really would have liked Esther to say, because she goes, okay, and we found out this is a person. Yes, I can confirm that they were from Guam. We found out that they were trying to go to a party, so we basically brought them back to Kanoa. Said, okay, you're done. I was like, I'm sure that's a very sanitized version of the exact conversation they had.
Maybe
I would have loved to hear.
You're done. Make this guy a plate and bring it to the.
Well, we'll have to see. Obviously, if this is something the Attorney General at Matabusan is working on Guam, they probably won't be able to comment on it, right? We'll definitely have to check in with that legal team because, wow, an essential someone who's going in, right, who is getting exempted for this essential work.
Yep.
It's just really tragic to me that this potentially could be the cause for this spike in cases. It's just how irresponsible. I can't wrap my head around it, Chris.
Well, look at it. This entire whole thing reportedly started with a single bet.
Yeah.
If you actually do want to trace the genesis of this whole thing, that.
But with the messaging with the NMI, you can't really argue that it doesn't work because look at the results they got outside of the surge that was caused by someone from Guam, right? Whereas on our end, I'm pretty sure that we would hear just excuses or reasons all day. They would say, oh, well, we're dealing with 3 times the population or whatever. But messaging is messaging. It doesn't matter if you're messaging it to one person or, 10 people. You come up with a good message, saves lives, and you just beat the hell out of it until it's just people are just, I got to get my booster. That's what kind of messaging you want. But again, because so much of this pandemic response has to get filtered through the whole, we're running for re-election next year. I think that's where we're seeing a lot of the disconnect. I mean, if you look, there was a story in the media, local media this morning, interviewing Dr. Berg, who's the head of the Physicians Advisory Group, who came on here one time. And they're already talking about easing up the restrictions. We get less than 20 cases and already the conversation is all right, we're going to Christmas you guys, no restrictions. So remember this place we're in now. Remember that there's 5,000 military service people coming to Guam this week, possibly more, to do training. The Chamber of Commerce is excited about this. They're hey, they're going to be out there. Show them the half-a-day spirit. R&R, right? And so I just want to say, can we just move with some caution here? Because that's kind of what got us into this whole thing in the first place. Was this herky-jerky, let's go from place of caution to, yay, Merry Christmas, everyone. You know what I mean? I'm just saying in my eyes, there's a perfect storm of vulnerability as we're still trying to get everyone to get their boosters. We're still trying to get the kids vaccinated. And now we want to talk about easing up on restrictions. Granted, though, the restrictions that are in place, that's what kind of made me chuckle, was they're ineffective. And so when we talk about easing of restrictions, they're saying that they're going to ease the number of people who can gather vaccinated, I'm assuming. I don't know if they're going to lift the restrictions on the unvaccinated, but I just think it's just a little too early. But hey, plan away. God knows we need some planning in this thing. 921, so that was Esther Munya, the CEO of the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation. Really insightful that she kind of wears Lillian Posadas' hat and Art St. Augustine's hat. And that's what, according to her, they're able to kind of move quickly and make decisions on the spot. Good job, Tomas.
Yeah, and just again, shout out to the frontliners. They've held that line. They continue to hold that line since the pandemic started, and it's unfortunate that this essential worker
who's
wanted
from
a party
Guam.
plate so bad.
I know, God,
that he couldn't follow the rules.
Well, you guys got stuff in Saipan that we don't always have on the table in Guam, so I'm pretty sure it was the Azuzu. Right. He didn't want to miss season. It's 9:22. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and my buddy Jason is coming back with a great interview. Jay?
Yeah, so we got Roland Atta from the Veterans Commission going to talk about this week's honoring, and not enough is being done to honor our veterans for the commitment they made, for the sacrifices they made, for the pain they endured, for the struggles that they continue to face. And what we can do as a community to right this wrong and make sure that we take care of our vets, because God knows they all busted their butts to take care of us. That we can sit here and we can jibe and criticize and do stuff on a talk show when people for generations, so especially our uncles, our ninos, our grandfathers and everything like that went into harm's way and served their country.
Thank you for that, Jay. We'll be back with more of The Link next.
Tacos
This
and
year,
music.
Giving Tuesday falls on November 30th.
And though our community is still facing some of the most challenging of times, there's no better time
to volunteer, donate, spread awareness, and do whatever you can to help those in need.
Let's continue to build a wave of generosity
that creates a ripple effect for all in our community.
Throughout the month of November, Team KUAM Care Force will be showcasing some of our favorite charities.
To inform, inspire, and introduce you to the wonderful things these groups are doing for our community.
We're also calling on you to donate to our food pantry and toy drive to benefit the Salvation Army at our KUAM studios.
Any weekday between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. starting on November 1st.
Or stop by our second annual donation drive-through event on November 30th.
You can also visit our studios to sign our Kindness for Caregivers wall to show our healthcare workers our appreciation.
So be a giver and join the KUAM Care Force this year in making a difference this Giving Tuesday.
Giving Tuesday 2021 is presented in partnership with our community partner, APL. Better Ways.
Let's get merry during the most wonderful time of the year by making spirits bright. KUAM Communications and Coast 360 want to highlight your decorations and lights by flooding the social media pages of KUAM with your videos and photos. Finish your holiday setup, snap a few shots or video of your delightful display, and send it to us through social media or email them to promotions@kuam.com. Check out our posts every Friday or tune in to KUAM News Weekend Edition for a special montage of the submissions certain to be making spirits bright with every broadcast. Warmest holiday wishes from KUAM Communications and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
This holiday season, we're once again bringing together the island's largest array of local vendors for a special innovative way for you to shop, broadcast, and go digital with Team KUAM. Join us on Sunday, November 28th for the annual Christmas Pops Virtual Holiday Market at 12 noon on KUAM TV8 and the KUAM News Facebook page, plus additional show times through December 11th. We'll also be featuring vendors daily with posts with QR codes and links on our social media pages beginning Monday, November 29th, and hosting an exclusive Christmas Pops website for your one-stop shopping. It's a safe and convenient way for you to shop local this holiday season. To reserve your spot, email promotions@kuam.com today. Virtual space is limited.
Presented by UOG School of Business and Public Administration.
Take in the panoramic beauty of our island each Sunday on the KUAM News Instagram with Scenic Sundays. Scroll through the natural beauty of the island on display. Scenic Sundays on the KUAM News Instagram is brought to you by Addis Trust and Investment, Location, Service, Trust, and Haagen-Dazs Shops Guam, where every day is made extraordinary.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Got a question about your finances? You've come to the right place. Bring all your accounts together, even those that aren't with us, and see the big picture, right down to the smallest detail. Unlock powerful tools like Insights and Money Map that help you save time and take control of your finances. When you connect accounts with the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore. Stop on by and visit our showroom today. We offer everyday low prices on all major outdoor power equipment like bush cutters, chainsaw, power washer, generators, and more. Need service, repair, maintenance? Well, check out Guam's best superstore only at Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, located in Barragata along Army Drive between Submarina and Besta Market. Call 735-7446 for more information. Now shipping to surrounding islands. Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape Superstore.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage. With generations of Filipinos calling Guam home, KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city, featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC.
KUAM Communications continues our perpetuation of our Chamorro culture, language, and heritage, with features available to our listening and viewing audience, including streaming of Chamorro music 24 hours per day on Isla Digital Radio on KUAM.com and the KUAM News app. Chamorro News Update, weekdays on The Link and the KUAM News YouTube channel. Conversations about life in our Chamorro language podcast, Cuentos Tapoco, with Kin Conception. Seasonal specials, shows, shows and other features highlighting the beauty of our language, culture, and history. It's a new era of our continued commitment to our Chamorro heritage. Isla. Watch, listen, stream. Viva Isla!
Looking for TV schedules, upcoming sports, or special presentations, or what you may have missed over the busy week you had? Well, look no further than KOAM Digital Digest. This weekly emailed newsletter puts all kinds of information in the hands of subscribers each and every week. Just subscribe and we will make sure you keep up with your favorites and stay informed and entertained throughout it all. Go to KOAM.com, click on the newsletter tab, give us your email address, and you are all set. Brought to you in digital partnership with King's Restaurant and Ruby Tuesday Guam. It's the KOAM Digital Digest, your weekly guide to the latest information and best entertainment on the stations and platforms of KUAM.
Listen, watch, and learn from the daily Chamorro news updates from KUAM News. Catch them on the link during the 8 o'clock hour, streaming online on Isla Radio, or on the KUAM News YouTube channel for your convenience. Tune in and stay informed, all while preserving our precious culture through the daily use of our native Chamorro language. Chamorro news updates are brought to you by your familia at First Hawaiian Bank.
Immense importance. My friend Roro is going to join me right now. We're going to talk about veterans issues. Guys, I have a something interesting I found. Check this out, Bree. I found this on Twitter when Tomas was interviewing Esther Munya. That's the actress Amber Heard. You guys may know her. She was in Pineapple Express. She was in the DC movie. She was in Justice League. She's also known as former Mrs. Johnny Depp. And she posted this picture on Twitter, right? And she's casually reading a book. That book is written by Guam's own Julian Uggan. And so Amber Heard actually tweeted this and said, this is a fantastic book, caught in the act of reading. And Julian even wrote back to her and says, oh my God, thank you so much. So Julian got some celebrity endorsement right now for his book.
Right on.
So it's the book, The
Properties of
Perpetual Light. So our friend Julian getting seen and getting read, as he should be.
And heard, apparently.
Yeah.
9:31, Jason Solis, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, so of course, ladies and gentlemen, of course, coming up this Thursday, a very cherished, very time-honored, very, very important day for all of us as Americans. But the fact that it's only one day is kind of unfortunate because we have so much immense reverence and respect for anyone in our country who has ever volunteered or taken up arms in defense of freedom and of liberty. If you were a soldier, a sailor, an airman, a Coast Guardsman, a Marine, what have you and everything. We love you and we thank you for your service. One such veteran is someone you know from his very fine work with the Guam Hogs, but he is also a veteran, our friend Roro Ada, who joins us right now in the KUM News Zoom Room. Ro, good morning, brother. Good to see you as always, man.
Good morning, guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing okay, and may I say, like, in advance, because we thank you every day. You know, thank you for your service and happy Veterans Day. This is one of many hats you wear. I know you got your Hogs hat on right now, but you are also the you're the second vice of the Veterans Commission on Guam.
The first vice.
Oh, first vice. Pardon me. Yeah. So, Guam's veterans, you know, as veterans across the country. The struggle continues, and that's very, very unfortunate and everything like that. But what issues are of critical importance to local vets and people who now make this their home, or we grew up here and then, you know, went into the service and everything like that and came back and continue to see, like, you know, these roadblocks or ways that they should be taken care of and recognized, you know, for the sacrifices that they made?
Well, a lot of them have to do with like their ratings or medical appointments and stuff like that, which I believe they're doing a little bit better than when I first came back. It was actually very difficult. Now it seems like it's getting a little bit better. They're outsourcing a lot more of their support because a lot of the things that we need. Chiropractors, acupunctures, even just regular primary care doctors outside, because the little clinic that we have here on Guam is not enough to handle all the veterans we have here on Guam. And so with that, a lot of the veterans are able to get outsourced to other clinics outside, I feel like are getting better service now since I've been back. And the veterans have been standing up and bringing more awareness to what our situation as far as veterans needing help here. And there's also another group that's coming up this year, and they're a really good group. I've been working with them, the HMI group. It's in Chamorro. It's the Way, the Truth, and the Light. It's also the By Veterans, For Veterans group. What they do is they actually go out, do some outreach to some of the villages. We've already done a few down south, up north, and we're still working on trying to get some up here in central. What they do is they go out and they outreach and they tell veterans about how they can help them improve their ratings. As far as when they get out, they either get like a 30%, 10%, or 100%, which I have. So what we do is we go out there and we help assist them getting all their paperwork in order, or some that got out that never even filed. So this group also comes out and helps them with their ratings, and they work with an outside doctor that helps write nexus letters and stuff like that. That's also what the veteran needs, is a nexus letter, and these guys do that, and they're a really great group of guys who help our veterans here. And if they're down to help our veterans, I'm down to help them too.
Absolutely. So it's good to see the progress is being made, but again, like you said, we're getting better. It's still not enough. I think that's a very, very good point to be made. But I mean, these are benefits that these men and women have earned through a career spent sacrificing, being away from family, missing the birth of their children, through literal blood, sweat, and tears, through self-discipline, through pain. These are things that they've earned, and the fact that they're not able to fully take advantage of that is something that definitely needs to be corrected.
Yes, and they deserved it. They went through. Some may not have gone through what others have gone through, but whether they've been deployed or not, they all still deserve everything that they have put their lives on the line for, and for our country and for our island. So it really helped. I've seen a few people who've already with their ratings have gotten from like 50% up to like 90%, which is even better, for the service member or their families as well. And I just thank this group, and what we're trying to do too is do our Veterans Day ride as well. And so we help all these organizations. So we're gonna try and help this organization by raising some money for these different organizations. We have the Guam Hogs this year is going to be helping out the Gold Star family, which is one that just recently started up again, and that they've set up a monument that's going to be built down in Center Plaza.
Yep, right next to the Purple Heart Monument too, fittingly so.
Yes, right next to it. And then we're also helping out this HMI group, the By Veterans, For Veterans, and the BFW Post 1509 in Jigo. So all the money we're raising for this, again, goes back to our veterans, and we're also going to be doing a poker run on Veterans Day. So if you have a bike and you're down to ride and you want to come and have some fun and help Guam Hogs raise some money for veterans, you're more than welcome. Or if you don't want to, you're more than welcome to just come along for the ride as well.
And we say this all the time. We have you on, Roro, talking about like what you guys do with the MC is that it's not a requirement for membership into the club to have served and everything, but like every 9 out of every 10 of your members have served in some branch of service, so they've got that sense of duty and sense of giving back and taking care of people that can't fight for themselves. And that really comes through in your community service work.
Yes, and that's what a lot of our members. We have quite a few members who are veterans, and a lot of them, I feel like well, I should say for myself, I feel like we still continue to serve our island and our country by doing what we do. Again, our main mission for the Guam Hogs is to help Guam's children in need. But one time a year, we get to help our veterans and give back to those who gave some. And you know, going back with the Gold Star family, they gave all. You know, and that's the ultimate sacrifice that some of us really appreciate and show our appreciation by doing what we do every year for veterans.
Now, taking into consider, you know, like all 5 branches of service, I guess, well, technically now there's 6 branches with Space Force. Yeah, with Space Force. What would you say, you know, like wherever someone made this decision to join and to serve and everything like that, what would you say is the characteristic or the personality of a Guamanian veteran, someone that carries, you know, that history with them and having, you know, spent part of their life, however long it was, you know, it may be a career long, or they may have only been in for, you know, like 3-4 years and everything like that, but the way they conduct themselves now in the community and the way the way that they work and everything like that, what is the typical Guam veteran like?
I can again only speak for myself. My thing is I feel like it's, you know, you've served your country, you've done the things in the uniform, and now you're out of the uniform, and now you have a better opportunity to do what you want and not have to necessarily have someone saying, hey, you need to go over here and volunteer to do this and volunteer to do that, or hey, you go over there and move some rocks and then come back and put it back again. So it's an opportunity for veterans to actually just be able to do what they want to do when they want to do it. And being here on Guam and helping our veterans here on Guam makes you want to do it even more, because you know it's helping a family member or a relative or a friend, brother, uncle, auntie, sister, and that, in a way, I feel like it's more close to home than it does when you're out there in the military serving in uniform. Again, like for me, like I have the opportunity to do everything I can for our island and for our veterans here, and that's why I continue doing what I do. And I don't have anybody telling me, hey, you can't do this today. You have to go do it when I tell you to do it. And for being able to do it when I want to do it is the best part.
Well, I dare anybody not to tell Rolanata he can't do something and then watch it get done. You know, you've always come through and always finished everything you've started. So, you know, no worries there. And, you know, it is kind of, I mean, it perfectly parallels, you know, your work in the motorcycle club now, because, you know, for those of us that never served, you know, us civilians, or those of us that have never been in a club like an MC, we don't really get a sense of like the brotherhood. You can read about it, you can watch, you know, YouTube videos and everything like that, but you never really know until you're in. So for those of us civilians and everything, on Thursday and throughout the year, what can we do to properly say thank you and continue to honor, you know, what you did and what you continue to do?
Just being able to give back to our veterans and you know, I guess, you know, being able to thank them for all the things that they've done or in their service and for however long they did it. Some people did 20 some years. I did 16. Some people did 3 years. You know, and just being able to thank them and give back to them, knowing that, you know, they did something extraordinary that normal people may never see or do in their entire life. And just being appreciative of everything that they've done. Again, no matter what service, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, just being able to show your appreciation to them, and being able to, you see other people out there who are struggling. You see them on the side of the roads trying to get help. And we're also trying to reach out to them as well. There's other programs that are out there to help reach out to them that tries to help them. And again, it hurts to see them there doing that kind of stuff. But that's why we have other veteran organizations out here that are trying to help them get out of that kind of situation.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, can do, will do, Roman. We appreciate it, and we thank you personally for your service, as well as everybody on Guam, like whoever made the decision to put on the uniform and fight for us and everything like that. So thank you, and we'd love to have you back on again. So real quick, if people want to participate in the ride, right, and ride alongside you guys and everything, they don't have to be a member of your club. They're more than welcome just to ride along.
Yes. So Veterans Day, they're going to be doing a flag raising up by this is before the ceremony starts. It's going to be Veterans Day, 8 o'clock at right by Aspen Beach Park. There's a flagpole right next to Tea Factory.
Okay.
The Aspen mayor is going to be raising the flag there at 8 o'clock, and then after that, they're going to be doing a ride. After that, Brotherhood of Veterans is going to be doing that. You're more than welcome to join that. Once that ride comes back, they're going to meet up at Paseo no later than 9:15, and then we're going to roll out to Adaloop. Adaloop is where we're doing the Veterans Day ceremony this year. It's going to start at 11 o'clock. So once we leave Paseo at 10:50, we'll be heading up to Adaloop for the event. Or not 10:50, 9:50, I'm sorry. And then after the ceremony, the Guam Hogs will be doing another ride. We're going to be doing a poker run. It's $5 a hand, $20 for 5 hands. And then we're going to be hitting the south end of the island, and then we'll end up at BFW 1509 in Jigo.
Yep. Right there at the Jigo Town Hall Center. Yep.
Yes. And again, like I said, most the money we're raising this year goes to BFW 1509, the Gold Star family. We're going to be donating some 4 bricks. I think the bricks each are going to be $300 a brick. So I'm not sure if you guys know that, but there's if you want to be a part of the Gold Star family, you can buy a brick for $300 each, and then they'll put it down, and you'll have your own company or your family name if you want to donate from your family as well.
Right on.
And then we're also going to be donating to the HMI group that's doing all this wonderful work for all our veterans here who they don't get any benefit from it other than helping veterans. Mm-hmm. And that's why I really appreciate this other group. And so like I said, after the ride, so if you want to meet up with us, we'll probably start the ride at Adaloop, probably around 11:50, 12 o'clock. From there, we'll head down south.
All right. Well, obviously, like even though all of you no longer wear the uniform, and like you certainly did for many years and everything like that, you guys have never stopped fighting. So we thank you as a community for doing so, and happy early Veterans Day, Raul, to all you and all your colleagues.
Thank you.
All right. Please stay tuned, everybody. The link will be back. With
right
more
on,
Rad
Prim.
after this.
9:48. Yes, we will be back with Cover Me, brought to you by Burger King. Okay, Raul.
Yeah, brother.
There you go. That's happening Thursday.
So that's Thursday, yeah. So make sure to get involved, everybody. They're doing really, really good work over there. Again, that's Roland, the first vice of the Veterans Commission. The second vice is our friend Dan Mendiola, my Army instructor.
That's right.
When I was in ROTC, all 4 years and everything like that. Like a second father to me. Nate.
Let's take a break, Jay. It's 9:48. The link continues next.
Let's
Good morning.
get married during the most wonderful time of the year by making spirits bright. KUAM Communications and Coast 360 want to highlight your decorations and lights by flooding the social media pages of KUAM with your videos and photos. Finish your holiday setup, snap a few shots or video of your delightful display, and send it to us through social media or email them to promotions@kuam.com. Check out our posts every Friday or tune in to KUAM News Weekend Edition for a special montage of the submissions certain to be making spirits bright with every broadcast. Warmest holiday wishes from KUAM Communications and Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. Together, we thrive.
This year, Giving Tuesday falls on November 30th.
And though our community is still facing some of the most challenging of times, there's no better time
to volunteer, donate, spread awareness, and do whatever you can to help those in need.
Let's continue to build a wave of generosity
that creates a ripple effect for all in our community.
Throughout the month of November, Team KUAM Care Force will be showcasing some of our favorite charities.
To inform, inspire, and introduce you to the wonderful things these groups are doing for our community.
We're also calling on you to donate to our food pantry and toy drive to benefit the Salvation Army at our KUAM studios.
Any weekday between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. starting on November 1st.
Or stop by our second annual donation drive-through event on November 30th.
You can also visit our studios to sign our Kindness for Caregivers wall to show our healthcare workers our appreciation.
So be a giver and join the KUAM Care Force this year in making a difference this Giving Tuesday.
Giving Tuesday 2021 is presented in partnership with our community partner, APL. Better Ways. This holiday season, we're once again bringing together the island's largest array of local vendors for a special innovative way for you to shop, broadcast, and go digital with Team KUAM. Join us on Sunday, November 28th for the annual Christmas Pops Virtual Holiday Market at 12 noon on KUAM TV8 and the KUAM News Facebook page, plus additional show times through December 11th. We'll also be featuring vendors daily with posts with QR codes and links on our social media pages beginning Monday, November 29th, and hosting an exclusive Christmas Pops website for your one-stop shopping. It's a safe and convenient way for you to shop local this holiday season. To reserve your spot, email promotions@kuam.com today. Virtual space is limited.
Presented by UOG School of Business and Public Administration.
Take in the panoramic beauty of our island each Sunday on the KUM News Instagram with Scenic Sundays. Scroll through the natural beauty of the island on display. Scenic Sundays on the KUM News Instagram is brought to you by Addis Trust and Investment, Location, Service, Trust, and Haagen-Dazs Shops Guam, where every day is made extraordinary.
In the morning, you hear the work bell ring, and I'm marching through the table. You see the same old thing, ain't no fool up on the table, and the folk up in the bottom. And you better not complain, boy. Get in trouble with the mountain. Let the midnight special shine a light on me. Let the midnight special shine a light on me.
Hey, good morning. Drive-through Mondays with Burger King. It's so easy. All you do is drive through on a Monday.
Quite possibly the easiest instructions that were ever made.
All you got to do, and they're going to give you a Whopper coupon absolutely free, just like that. Okay? 9:53, Monday, November 8, 2021. It's also brought to you in part by Docomo Pacific. It is Burger King's Cover Me. Good morning. The KUAM Podcast Network is back and on demand, featuring a great variety of podcasts from our island and region, including culture, lifestyle, awareness, crime, politics, commentary, comedy, and entertainment. Available on most streaming platforms. The KUAM Podcast Network. Subscribe and listen now.
KUAM TV has been on the air for 65 years. 65 years of growing, changing, and adapting to the needs of our local community. 65 years of making you smile, laugh, and cheer, and being there for you in times of tears and heartbreak, and learning to heal together. We've kept you on the edge of your seats, been a trusted source for you to turn to, weathered many storms together, and celebrated life's big moments. And now at 65, we celebrate all the firsts we brought you over the years and all the firsts that lie ahead as our world changes. KUAM TV, celebrating 65 years of firsts on Guam.
KUAM Communications continues our perpetuation of our Chamorro culture, language, and heritage, with features available to our listening and viewing audience, including streaming of Chamorro music 24 hours per day on Isla Digital Radio on KUAM.com and the KUAM News app. Chamorro News Update, weekdays on The Link and the KUAM News YouTube channel. Conversations about life in our Chamorro language podcast, Cuentos Tapoco, with Kin Conception. Seasonal specials, shows, and other features highlighting the beauty of our language, culture, and history. It's a new era of our continued commitment to our Chamorro heritage. Isla, watch, listen, stream. Viva Isla!
Listen, watch, and learn from the daily Chamorro news updates from KUAM News. Catch them on The Link during the 8 o'clock hour, streaming online on Isla Radio, or on the KUAM News YouTube channel for your convenience. Tune in and stay informed, all while preserving our precious culture through the daily use of our native Chamorro language. Chamorro news updates are brought to you by your familia at First Hawaiian Bank.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
All right, welcome back to The Link, everybody. We are going to put this episode of your show of shows in the history books and everything. We sincerely appreciate each and every one of you all over the world for being with us today.
I like it when you say bye. Whoa, that was nice.
I know.
You're like, all right, later, guys. Shoot, man. He's like, you know what, guys?
That's the laters.
Your guys are great. You're good people. We love you.
You know what?
Stay healthy.
It's all about these fluffy little white happy clouds. You just got to take your friend Mr. Fanbrush and just push a little, just push and you get a little happy
I'm out.
Okay, thanks, Bree.
Get a little happy tree. Shout out to Bob Ross.
The show's proudly brought to you by Pacific Point, Scavo Enterprises, IT&E, and Jack in the Box on this Monday. Don't forget, we got your 6 with our KUAM News primetime newscast. We'll have more definitely on this stabbing incident as the details continue to unfurl today.
Bree is anchoring tonight, right? Is it you or me?
Did you want to?
Yeah, it sounds like Jason wants to anchor.
Well, welcome.
That's what I heard.
Welcome to a KUM management practice called being voluntold.
It's number 1 in the employee handbook. All right, good job today, guys. Leave you with a burner, man. Classic from Red Chook. It's called Sleepless Nights. Link fam, we out. Esta. Adios.
Bye.